Do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do. Do-do-do. Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as I hope we always do. My name is Raheem, not important at all, but I want to say good morning to Captain Leonard. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem and the Morning Glow family.
Man, Leonard, we got some mess going on. We talked about some stuff yesterday with the sheriff that was in the situation where he defended himself and all kind of things that was going on. This morning I wake up,
Are you talking about
the
the
coach.
conversation we had about the coach? Okay.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I wake up this morning and I look at the news while I'm getting dressed, catch up to speed of what's going on. And what do I hear? A mother's on the news this morning having a conversation with the news about her daughter being stabbed, and they showed the video of her daughter being stabbed in a Fulton County um, lunchroom. Big altercation broke out, and there was a stab, and they showed the girl, going at the girl, winding the knife back, and they stopped it right before the actual stabbing took place. They didn't want to show that part of it, but they were saying that this is the average. This is normal. This is what actually goes on in our schools, Leonard. We don't send our kids to school to be abused. And his mother was absolutely terrified, man. She was absolutely terrified at the idea of her daughter. She said, "I'm watching my daughter." And what happened was she got wind of it on Instagram. Other students had recorded it, placed it on Instagram, and that's how she saw it. And she said she saw her daughter actually there fighting for her life in the school cafeteria. Leonard, are the children, are the young people, are they out of control, man?
No more so than any other than other people. It's not a young people thing.
Mm-hmm.
And one, you would have to ask yourself, why is it happening? Because one, I don't lump incidents together.
Mm-hmm.
I said that before. I don't know why this issue occurred. It could be retaliation. It could be anything.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to think that, yeah, I was just sitting there doing nothing and somebody did this to me. That's usually not the case.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually not the case. There's some other aggravation, but until no tolerance is shown, that's why you have such a problem
Mm-hmm.
because you're still allowing far too much to go on in public schools.
Mm.
It's a place of discipline. It should be a place of discipline and learning. And if people are not about discipline and learning, they shouldn't be there. So
Mm-hmm.
these kids that continually get in trouble and all these types of things and pose a threat to other students need to be expelled.
Mm.
There's no other way around it.
How do you weed it?
Well, basically, you institute a better policy. Like, say,
Mm-hmm.
for instance, I'm a big fan of three strikes, you're out.
Mm-hmm. I'm not.
So if you're just going to think that it's okay for you to do whatever you want and harm other people, you shouldn't be in the company of other people.
Mm-hmm.
Plain and simple as that. Until you start showing no tolerance, you're going to continue to have a problem. You can say zero tolerance, and
Mm-hmm.
then if things still are occurring, whatever it is you put in place is not working.
Yeah.
There should be no tolerate. There's zero tolerance
Mm-hmm.
for gangs, gang behavior, anything that looks like it's gang related. Violence should be treated as a lot more than just a school fight.
Mm-hmm.
You all have this phrase, and we started to get into it. This prison to the pipeline has to do with your behavior, not an effort for people to lock you up for the rest of your life. It's about your
Mm-hmm.
behavior.
Hmm.
And anybody else that has a different opinion, call in.
Yeah, and I would love for them to call in on 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. I would really like to hear their input on that. You said that you're advocate for the three strikes. I'm not. Because there is some good in it. There could be some good in it because some elements need to be in situations where they're away from other people because they're just damaging that way. But at the same time, because a person have two prior strikes, and they anything could happen. It could be a misunderstanding or mistake or something like that on a lot of
What
people.
happened the first two times?
Well, that like you just said, you don't lump things together. We don't lump them together. If
Right.
we
So
if
it's
we
not
start
about lumping things
together.
together. It's about
Mhm,
individual acts of criminal behavior.
mhm. But my thing is this right here. If somebody make a mistake, I walked
You
in the
don't make
store.
a mistake. You don't make a mistake and commit crime.
I that's that I differ from that. But my thing is this right here. I walked in the store and paid for certain thing and forgot I had something in my hand, walked out the door. Did I intend to steal that? No. I did not intend to steal it. It wasn't my intent. But if that was my a third strike and somebody say, look at here, well, you stole it. You stole it. You got a prior and you've done things in the past, and because you've done things in the past, you have a propensity or whatever that fancy word is to do this again. I don't agree with that, man. I made a mistake. Okay, I paid for all this other stuff. I forgot I had this in my hand. I walked out the door. I didn't mean to steal it. Third strike, brother. You're gone for the rest of your life. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. Uh,
Fine. But
Tiffany, go
go
ahead. Go
ahead.
ahead. No, go ahead, Leonard.
Well, I mean that's the problem with our community now.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody think that everything is okay,
Mm-hmm.
and you should get as many choices as you need, and there's always an excuse for your behavior. That's why you have a problem in your community now.
See, my thing is I like to weigh the situation and the circumstances surrounding everything before I make that rash decision. Because if this person say that a judge, you look at here, man, I did not intend. I know I got two strikes. I know that I'm not gonna go into a store and steal something that cost $5. I'm not gonna go in the store and sacrifice my life, the rest of my life, for a $5 product that I very well had the money in my pocket to pay for. I paid for all this other stuff. I forgot I had this. I forgot I had this in my hand. I walked out. The little buzzer went off, and it shocked me just like it shocked everybody else. Judge, I didn't mean to steal this stuff. I
Hmm.
didn't. I didn't mean to steal it. It wasn't my intent to
Hmm.
steal anything.
Three times.
Again, Leonard, you just said yourself that you're
Three
not.
times.
No. You just said yourself, I'm not gonna lump things together, and now you're doing
I'm
very
not.
good.
This is a completely separate incident. You
But
stole two other incidences before
now,
this.
maybe the other two things was
I
something
know.
totally
I know.
different.
Talk
Yeah,
about it
but
from yourself.
my
Next
thing is
case.
this right here. That's why I don't agree with that because
I know. I know you don't. There are some
my
people
thing is
that
this right
don't
here.
agree. There are some people that don't agree with two rapes, and then a third one come around, and now you got an excuse for that one too. I
No,
bet you got an excuse for all of them.
that's totally different, and you know it is, brother. That's
But it's
totally
still
different, and you know it.
crime.
But
It's still
still, my thing
crime.
is, right, what is the intent? Crime has a lot to do with intent.
I
Do you have an
know.
intent?
I
Did you
know. I
have an
wasn't
intent to
intending to
steal?
rape her. I
Now,
wasn't intending to
see,
rape her.
see, now you're trying to mull all this up again. I'm talking about somebody stealing a candy bar by mistake, and you talking about
Still
somebody raping
crime.
somebody. How you gonna tie that together, Leonard?
Same
Come on.
way. Same way God ties sin together.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Now it's a God of sin thing. Lord Jesus, just to break the
I mean,
argument.
we had mercy on you. We had mercy on you the first two times.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't. Like I said again, I don't agree. I don't agree, and we could talk to our butt kick a field goal. Ain't nobody gonna
I
make me
mean, the
agree with
first time, the first time you did it, I let you go
that. Mm-hmm.
with a promise
Mm-hmm.
that you wouldn't do it again.
Mm-hmm.
When you did it again.
508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Give us a call. Let us know what y'all think about this situation. Do you agree with Leonard? Do you agree with me? How do you feel about it? Tiffany Real, good morning. How you doing this morning?
All right. Been in the studio all night.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Look here. You need to take your bed to the studio. Eh, But what do you think about this three strike situation? How do you feel about it? Because I mean, both arguments are. I think both arguments are good and very.
You froze up.
There we go.
Okay.
I think we're back now. There we go. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead. How you feel about it? I
Okay,
didn't.
you froze up before you finished saying what you were saying.
Yeah. My thing. How do you feel about the three strike situation?
I don't really like the three strikes because you know I hear what Leonard's saying, stuff like that, and in certain cases, yeah, like if you rape somebody, you really shouldn't get three strikes for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
even that, it depends on this type of situation because we know, here in Georgia, we've had situations where a teenage boy 17 or whatever, he might have had a 14-year-old girlfriend or something like that. And, they did whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
because he was 17, he had to do a mandatory 10-year sentence or whatever because she was
Statutory rape.
14.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Statutory rape.
Statutory rape,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
but, they both kids.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be one strike. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So in certain situations, yeah, like if you do certain crimes, I would say yes, but in others, no, because let's take somebody stealing something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's purposely or not. If you robbing somebody, beating somebody over the head and stealing just because you want to steal or whatever your reasons are, but if you stealing because you hungry, you know what I'm saying? I just can't see you being sent to prison for the rest of your life. I
Mm-hmm.
think you need to deal with the issues like why are you hungry? Why are you stealing? You know what I'm saying? But you killing somebody, of course I wouldn't. You should go to prison the first time. You shouldn't be able to have three
Mm-hmm.
opportunities to kill people. But when it comes to like petty stuff and stuff like that, three strikes. Weed, people are in prison for life for weed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Mm-hmm.
legal now in a lot of states. You know what I'm saying? And they still in prison for that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's certain circumstances. I don't know.
And see that goes to and again this is a I think it's a personal thing. It's a personal people feel personally about this the way they feel about it because how do you weigh it? How do you really weigh the whole situation? What do you and see and this way I can agree with what Leonard is saying. What guidelines do you put in place? How do you weigh what is and what is intent, what is not intent? If it's three strikes, it's three strikes. Is that across the board? Is it really just that cut and dry? That's why I can't agree with him on that part. Yeah, go ahead, Tiffany.
But that hoe that was washing his feet, you know what I'm saying? She was a prostitute.
Hmm.
So if she would have got
Hmm.
locked up three times and charged three times, she would have went to prison for life.
Hmm.
God
Hmm.
let her come wash her feet and was like, yo, you can't, don't be judging her because she, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And I'm going to
Hmm.
let her wash my doggone feet. You know what I'm saying? Because she
Hmm.
knows who I am and she, you know what I'm saying? And she's bowing down to me.
Hmm.
So would Jesus have gave a whole life for being a prostitute?
Mm. Wow. And see, and again, it goes. It's personal preference, and a person gonna feel the way that they feel about it, in any given situation. Rico, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Man, I can't complain, man. Welcome to a beautiful new day, everybody.
Hey, welcome to you as well, brother. We're talking about the three strike rule. Well, we started talking about the young lady, and it mirrors what we was talking about yesterday about the coach. Today, I'm looking at the news, man, and a mother was on there. She was complaining about her daughter in school, Fulton County school system here in Georgia, being stabbed in the cafeteria. They showed the video of there was an altercation, there was a fight, and they showed the girl going over with a knife in her hand, drawing back, and it got all the way to the point where she was about to stab the girl, and they stopped the video right there because they didn't want, I guess, didn't want to be that graphic. But it was shown on Instagram. Some of the other students recorded it, posted on Instagram, and that's how the mother found out that her daughter was being stabbed. And then she said that how the mother was saying how she's so heartbroken that seeing her daughter having to fight for her life in the school system, and said that's absolutely too much. And I asked the question this morning: are our students, to a certain degree, totally out of control?
Also, I thought y'all were talking about it on three strikes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. We transitioned
I
over to that.
mean,
Hmm.
they are. This is really once again a continuation of yesterday's conversation.
Hmm. Hmm.
But you got to answer that question. Not all of them. I mean, one thing about it is we don't want to make one size fit all.
Mm-hmm.
That's classification, stereotype.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't want to make one size fit all. But in general, but I'll say for the most part, you see more disorder in the
Mm-hmm.
school system,
Mm-hmm.
and the teachers will tell you. It goes back to everything we talked about yesterday, and then I pretty much summed it all up with the funding.
Mm-hmm.
Because some of the things that you see going on in public schools don't go on in private schools because they already know that when you have a system in place and a structure and organization, you have to have the pieces in place to make it function properly. You have to have security. You already know human behavior.
Mm-hmm.
You have to put up preventive measures to make sure people don't abuse certain situations, to make sure people don't break and abuse the laws, and to make sure people observe them.
Mm-hmm.
So when's the last time you heard of somebody shooting up a private school or a boarding school?
Mm-hmm.
See, there's people children don't have to worry about that. Jay-Z and Beyonce children don't have to worry about that
Mm-hmm.
because they have the funding to make sure they got the proper number one. They got the proper programs in place to help these children that may be disturbed. They got all kind of revenue and funding to find out and explore different things to get these children's attention so they won't be so unhappy or dysfunctional. And then they have enough to pay the proper security,
Mm-hmm.
things that you don't have in public schools.
Mm-hmm.
These teachers, the teachers that I talked to yesterday morning when we was online, I was talking to one of the teachers and she was telling me how happy she was to talk to me. She had been reaching out to my son's mom the entire year and hadn't got a return phone call yet.
Mm-hmm.
If you seen that report card, but then I'm mad because I'm like, okay, I see this report card and I see these absences, man, and somebody should have called DCL.
Mm-hmm.
For all they know, my son could be dead.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't showed up to school in I don't know how many days. But the counselor said, well, I have all these ninth and 10th graders. I have 500 students, so I have to get around to him when I have a chance to get to his name. Well, I'm like, well, look, this is an emergency. I just brought something to your attention and really and truly, you can't wait a week or 2 weeks. This should have been addressed a month ago. She still hadn't talked to me, so I talked to the dean yesterday after we got off the phone. But it's the same problem. Teachers have too many students, and now teachers these days have less parents, parental participation with their children.
Mm-hmm.
So the job is a lot harder. Is they have a lot more on their hand. And Linda say it all the time. We see it. We all see it. A lot of these parents now are working so much and then spending so much of their recreational time enjoying life and all the things and the superficial things that life has to offer that they don't have time to be teachers or educators at home no more. So it
Mm-hmm.
does start at home, but the
Mm-hmm.
teachers can't pick up the slack like they used to because they don't have just two or three students that's needed. Now, if they got 25 students, 15 of them are lacking home training and the proper guidance to be able to do what they need to do in school, and they don't have parents concerned enough to come and participate or even care.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, let me hear your take on the three strike. How do you feel about the three strike law?
Well, that's based on the situation. Once again, they made a law that pretty much just made it in general. Yeah, you made it in general. Okay, you made these two for. Okay, it's one thing to put a law like that in place and say, well, the third time around, you did some time the first time, you did some time the second time. Now the third time you get out, you do it again. We just gonna throw you in there for life.
Mm-hmm.
But see, the thing is we have a corrupt justice system that is releasing people from prison all the time for policemen and citizens and district attorneys that intentionally have some against people and they want to incarcerate them or they just want to put a notch in their belt. They want to build a resume. So now here it is. You on your third strike. You don't turn your life around and you do like my grandma at 70 years old walking out of a grocery store. And I think it was a small container of pepper had a bucket full of stuff. And you know how
Mm-hmm.
back in the day women used to carry them big pocketbooks, man,
Yep.
and a
Yep.
container of pepper fell
Mm-hmm.
in her purse, probably cost $1 and something.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? They put them cuffs on my grandmama and took her to jail.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
with money in her pocket,
Mm-hmm.
without a history of any convictions or crimes.
Mm-hmm.
And with the explanation that look, that was an accident. What would I want to steal this pepper for?
Exactly.
But they took the opportunity to take advantage of the law that was written without using their discernment. And that's what the problem is when you put people in authority. They have the gift or they have the opportunity to use their discernment before they act. I was
Mm-hmm.
told yesterday, call the police to get a wellness check. Sometimes the police will do it, and then sometimes the police will lie and say they can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I brought that up, guess what they tell me? Well, it's up to the officer's discretion.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. And we talking about a few things right now. We're actually talking about, are our kids out of control with the situations that's going on in the school system? Are our children out of control? And the three strike rule. The three strike rule. How do you feel about the three strike? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it taking the elements off the street that shouldn't be amongst everybody else, or is it just another way of discrimination? Another form of discrimination where they're discriminating against a certain group of people that has a history. Should they have a history? No. Should people commit crimes? Absolutely not. But in a perfect world, they would not. But do we live in a perfect world? That's a part of the question. Do we live in a perfect world? Badger, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Man, talk to me about the children. Do you think the children are out of control, man, when you got kids stabbing each other in school, in the cafeteria, lunchroom, and other things like what we talked about yesterday with the young guy and the coach? Are our kids out of control, Badger? What do you say to that?
I think it depends on where they're at and how they're raised,
Mm-hmm.
the environment they're around.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you let media show whatever they want to show. We're still fighting with politicians to get laws better all to get better laws in place for all of us. There's still brutality being done by police officers. There's still racist people out and about everywhere. There's people that discriminate against other people for different reasons. It's just, I mean, most of these kids are having to grow up. They're stressed out, and some of them are lucky and have a decent parent, and others are just, they're around gangs and drugs, or they're seeing how much their parents are having to work all the time because they can't be home because they're not intelligent enough to get those, $30 an hour jobs to, pay for things, especially in this current economy. And they're sitting there, any of them that have any intelligence whatsoever, if they actually do research and go, wait, why are the oil prices up when we've got like 5 years of oil and Texas has all this oil that could be used to take care of America?
Mm.
Oh, it's Biden's fault. That's right. They're surrounded by that nonsense.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
So, and some of them are upset and irritated at the older folk because they're like, you're the one that let this world get as bad as it is. And now we're going to have to fight even harder. So, like, there's all the opinions of, like, it's hard to say they're out of control when, when we were young, getting brought up, we had to end up fighting. And now we're trying to make a better change for our grandkids. So we
Mm-hmm.
had to undo a lot of what was done before us. So just think of how much has changed just in our, age range, and how much more our kids are going to have to deal with before our grandkids or great grandkids might actually have a somewhat decent life
Mm-hmm.
without having to deal with racism and other things all
Mm.
the time.
Good deal. Good deal. The three. Are you for or against that?
What is the three strike rule?
Third, the third time you commit a crime, you go into jail for the rest of your life. Point blank. Period.
if it is 100% um, guaranteed, like every ounce of evidence says you did it, then yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Wow.
Especially after once or twice, and they're like, all right, it seems like you have a problem. Let's see if we can get you some help. And you turn
Mm-hmm.
it down and go do it again. No, you're the one being stupid at that point.
Mm-hmm. Leonard, Badger said it has a lot to do with the kids, their surrounding, their environment. How much do you think that play into them being out of control or not having the self control that they should have? How much do you
Bird,
think that plays into it?
a lot of time, birds of a feather flock together.
Mm-hmm.
That's your choice. I do not have any empathy whatsoever in this situation for the very
Mm-hmm.
simple fact. The whole reason why it's called three strikes you out is to say, hey, we don't already gave you two chances.
Mm-hmm.
It was aimed at habitual offenders, people that constantly find a way to break the law.
Mm-hmm.
If it's done across the board the way it should be done,
But it's not.
it works.
Mm-hmm.
I've been with for Georgians against the death penalty for the very simple fact that one, they were breaking the rules that they had already set regarding the death penalty. I'm not against the death penalty. I'm against the death penalty being used when it shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
But if you execute everybody for the same reason, for the same thing, and they are guilty, I have no problem with it. See, I don't think through the eyes of racism that way. You don't want to do what's needed to save your lives because of some reason you believe everything is against you because you're black. It's not the truth. Three strikes
Mm.
law was for habitual offenders. That was the issue and the problem when this came about. Those people who consistently do the things that bring harm or cause danger, or in some cases, destroy the lives of other people in the community.
Mm-hmm. So
That's what it
when we
was
say
about.
mm-hmm.
And if it's going on in your community, then that is what that law is for.
Mm. Now, Rico, when we say those people that break the law and do these different things, what are those people that we're talking about? Do they look a certain way?
Well, they could be anybody. It could
Mm-hmm.
be any human being that is actually doing. You can't really say what they look like.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just a matter of for some reason the prison system makes it look like it's more in our favor.
Yeah.
Based on the population. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
to be honest with you, you know what I'm saying, it can be anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But Leonard said the key word. To me, it's sort of different from what he was saying at first. I ain't gonna say it's different, but it sort of counters what he was saying,
Mm-hmm.
or clears it up. I put it that way. It clears it up because the key word is if they are guilty
Mm-hmm.
on that third strike, or if it was intentional. Like I said, you don't want somebody going to jail on no third strike on an accident.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, at the same time, we do have to understand that in this justice system, we have seen and we have movies proving people getting off death row, first time conviction, death row, getting out of prison for crimes that they did not do.
Mm-hmm.
And up and down the board on the opposite side, from the policeman to the district attorney, everybody knew and withheld evidence that could have freed this man. It wouldn't allow him to die. So when we have to, I'm gonna say, listen to mankind make these type of decisions on you, we actually should go deep inside and investigate to make sure aren't taking people's opportunities to live away. Because this is one life that we got to live. The
Mm-hmm.
last thing you want to do is prosecute somebody that has really turned their lives around. But for some reason, the city or the town that they're in, people have something against them. Matter of fact, Um, I'll give you a prime example because somebody is almost in this situation. You got a son, here it is, you might be a leader of a black organization.
Mm-hmm.
You raise a lot of fuss. But back in the day, you might used to go for bad, and every now and then your children walk in your footsteps. So now you got a son that's walking in your footsteps, and he on the wrong side of things. But
Mm-hmm.
now as an activist, the police know you got this son that's on the wrong side of things, and they start targeting him
Mm-hmm.
because you won't cooperate, you won't shut your mouth, you exposing the police force. Now this son ain't getting in trouble no more, but all of a sudden they sweep up on him, pull him over, lock him up, plant dope on him, and then don't even have the dope as evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Just send him down that road, that racket, just that whole term. I mean, this could have messed this man's life up. So he sat in prison. This guy, I know this happened for sure. This guy sat in prison at least 5 years, fighting a charge that they didn't fight. And right now they still fighting. He's released now, but they fighting it because they locked this man up and didn't have no charge on him.
Mm. Wow. Wow. And when you say that, one of the things that came to my mind was Essential Park 5. The young man spent all that time in prison, found out that they were not the ones that actually did the crime. And then you had certain orange people talking about, well, at least they did. I know they did something. They did something. Wow. So you now you want to keep these people locked up in prison, talking about at least they did something. Wow, that's absolutely crazy to me. What we're talking about today is this is the morning glow, and what we're talking about today is two topics we're talking about at this present moment. Are our kids out of control? And that's in light of
Oh,
what
your
happened.
phone real low, right?
My phone real low.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, there you go. I just turned it up a little bit. What we're talking about right now is two things. We're talking about, are our kids out of control in light of what happened. We talked yesterday about the coach that was fired. There was well, now they're saying that he's going to be fired because of what happened in the school system when he had an altercation with the young boy that attacked him. He protected himself. Said that there was guns involved, and he wanted to get the guns out of the school. That happened yesterday. That was our conversation yesterday. This morning, I wake up to a mother on the news. She's actually having a fit. She's irate because her daughter in the school cafeteria lunchroom yesterday was in an altercation, and they showed somebody stabbing her, and another kid or children had videoed it, and they showed the video up to the point where the girl was about to get stabbed, where the knife was back, and they stopped it right there because they didn't want it to be too graphic. That's one of the things we're talking about. Second thing is three strike rule. How do you feel about the three strike rule? Are you for it? Are you against it? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? What is really on your heart? The phone lines are open, 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Give us a call. Let us know what you think. Curtis, good morning. How you doing this morning? Curtis, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, man.
Okay.
I hear some of you.
Let's let,
Um,
let, let, let's start off talking about the three strike rule, Curtis. How do you feel about the three strike rule, brother? Is it a good thing or bad thing? What is on your heart concerning that?
I really don't know. I mean, three strikes you out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I really don't know how I feel about it. I
Mm-hmm.
do know I feel jaded, or I feel my vote is against it
Mm-hmm.
if it's not applied fairly
Mm-hmm.
to the masses. Don't apply the three strike rule or the RICO law just to get a conviction, or
Mm-hmm.
don't apply the three strike rule uh, to one group of folk and you don't apply it to another group of folk. See
Mm-hmm.
that? My whole thing with law is, to me, um, certain rules have been applied for certain people, and then other people don't even get a consideration of that rule.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Like, so when it come down to the three strike rule, I guess you could say three strikes you out.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
if it's BS, or if the case is bogus, then there shouldn't be a three strike anyway, a
Mm-hmm.
third strike anyway. I mean, I'm with Rico. This kind of close to home for me. My homeboy was locked up 26 years. It was all on the national news. Um,
You know what I mean? For a murder he didn't commit, and they knew he didn't commit it. And then when you think in terms of dope, drug dealing, there's several cases out there where the police departments, the police at the time, because I don't want to say all police, but the police that was in charge of the case, or the police that initiated the case, initiated the arrest, the judge, the prosecutor, everybody knew that the dope that this boy supposed to have was in the evidence locker. So how did this dude from the street break into the police department's evidence locker,
Mm-hmm.
steal the dope? That's all he stole was the dope now. Steal the dope. And then take the very same dope in the very same packages and put it back on the street.
Mm.
So, there's several cases of that. There was a documentary done called The 75th. Did you see it?
No.
The 75th is about the 75th precinct in New York. 75th precinct was, if I'm not mistaken, and those folk on this panel from New York can probably tell you more, but the 75th precinct was the first precinct to go under for corrupt behavior. The 75th fell first, and then the 76th fell. So they had two precincts in New York in the late 70s, I want to say early 80s, that went belly up. Everybody got fired, and some went to prison because they was practicing this corrupt form of policing, and they was the biggest drug dealers. They was the biggest drug dealers in town. They were stealing out of the evidence locker and taking the dope and putting it right back on the street. So when you got cases like that, and here it is, you got this guy like Rico said, he got 2 strikes or he got 1 strike, and you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You done planted some dope on him. Now you done hit him with every drug charge. It could come a total of 7 charges on that one arrest. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
It's not just, I had some drugs and they charged me with having drugs. No, you got possession of a controlled substance. That's one charge. Possession with the intent to distribute. That's another charge. Possession in the school district. That's another charge.
Exactly.
You see what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Mm-hmm. And
So like,
there's a lot. There's a
man, the
lot of things
system.
tied up in. There's a lot of things tied up into this thing, Kurt. There's a lot of things tied up in it, man. Let me go. Let me go to the phone lines. I want to keep this thing moving just a little bit. Cassandra, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Cassandra, we're talking about there's a lot of things we're talking. We got two topics going on right now, and one is our kids out of control. We spoke yesterday about the situation that happened with the coach and whether he should or should not be fired. Today, I'm looking at the news, and there's a young lady on there, and she's actually she's beside herself, man, because her daughter was stabbed in the cafeteria, in the school cafeteria. They showed the video. Some kids have actually recorded it, put it on Instagram, and just showing her kid. She said her kid was fighting for her life in the school system. And because of that reason, she was beside herself. Now, that's one thing we're talking about. How do you feel about that? The second thing, Cassandra, what is your take on the 3-strike rule? 3 strikes, you're gone for the rest of your life. What is your take on that?
I don't like the three. Let me. I can start with that one. I don't like the 3 strike rule. I I don't know what it is about that just really bothers me because some of us we've had more than 3 strikes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not talking about like violent. If you murder somebody, it's some things that I feel like people are capable of making changes. But if you lock down a 21-year-old because he's made 3 mistakes, I don't know. It just doesn't sit right with me. So that's just I don't know why, but the 3 strike rule has never sat well in my spirit. Now, when it comes to the young lady, we just talked about this yesterday. That's what I was talking about
Mm-hmm.
when I was saying these kids they bully kids. Why should my child be afraid to go to school?
Mm-hmm.
They want an education. Why should they be afraid to go to school? And believe me, I hear it almost every day. A teenager telling me, or a middle school kid telling me that they hate going to school for that reason. That somebody gonna bully you. Don't have to bother nobody. You don't have to do nothing. And it ain't about having a tough skin. Nobody should have to go through that. I don't care. You, we need to control the ones that are doing that. Put them in a special school or do something, because the other kids that want to learn should not have to be subjected to mental anguish or physical attack
Mm-hmm.
because they want to go to school. Leave them alone.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't, you need to be put out
Yeah. Yeah.
permanently if necessary.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Tiffany, what's on your heart, sis?
I want to go back to, where you're talking about the knives, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I was coming up, girls had blades in the roof of
Mm-hmm.
their mouths, and they was ready. Certain people, they were ready to slice up whoever came
Mm-hmm.
wrong.
Yeah.
So that is not something that necessarily changed. And then also in these schools, you have to understand some people, are being bullied every day. You know what I'm saying? You don't know the circumstances. Why did that person come to school? Was she
Mm-hmm.
the bully? Was she being bullied? Did she tell somebody and nothing happened? It's we always like to look at things on the surface, and the book cover looks a certain way and we go by that book cover, but when you open that book cover, what's going on? Why does that child feel the need to protect themselves? Are they at home being molested every day, and when they come to school, you know what I'm saying? There's so many factors. And then a lot of times these teachers, like, I know when my children were young, my children loved going to school,
Mm-hmm.
and those teachers focused on the kids that wanted to learn and made sure that they got the education that they deserved. And
Mm-hmm.
they forgot, let the other kids do what they're gonna do. But um it seems like things are different, but a lot of things are the same because we're still have a lot of poverty. We
Mm-hmm.
still have drugs. We still have domestic violence. We still have all these things that we had back then. But the reason why it seems like it's a lot or more is because it's televised, or we can see it on the TV and stuff, or the cell
Mm-hmm.
phones. Because police killing us, black on black crime, that's always been there. But now we can see it on Instagram every day. So
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
Just listen to the various perspectives, because it is a shame that, there is such a, how would you say, apprehension to doing the right thing. I mean, why do y'all want to give these people such breaks? What is this empathy towards people that are killing you, destroying your community, de- defiling your daughters and your sons, and why are you protecting these people?
Mm-hmm.
Why? You can sit around one way and be. I remember they were killing the elderly people. They were breaking into their homes because they were elderly. And at one point in my community, elderly got tired and they put out a notice: "We're killing your kids if they break into our house. So you had better raise them better." I'm not gonna sit around here. If your son is in my house, I don't care the relationship between him and your father, his father, none of that. The issue is he's somewhere where he ain't supposed to be, posing a threat to someone else. And so, one, we've always, we talk about the system, the system, the system, and never address the behavior that puts you there. We not talking about innocent people. So don't bring it up. It's not about innocent people. Where I'm from, when you hear bad news, folks don't jump to the side of the criminal, because usually they did what it was said that they did. They don't try to pretend like they didn't do it. They're guilty. They will tell you this. So if you, I don't know where y'all was born and raised.
Mm-hmm.
I hear everybody talking about, yeah, I'm from the hood. I'm from. Obviously, you're not, because you have no idea what's going on.
But I
People will
also know.
use and lie to you just as quick as they can.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
know kids do things because they know they getting back out. You can't hold them. That was the whole thing when we was younger. Old guy get you to do something because you a juvenile. You ain't, if he
But
do it, he going to jail forever. If you do it, you out in 6 months.
But see, my thing is this right here, though, Leonard, and that does happen. I've seen situations like that does happen. They get young people to do certain things because of that reason. But we cannot put everything in one big lump
Well,
of,
they
hey,
raping girls on the weekend for fun. For
Leonard, that's not
fun.
everybody. That's not everybody. That's not everybody. Everybody's not doing that. And
Right,
so,
right. And we're not talking about those people. We're
mhm,
talking
but I
about the
am.
people that are doing it and what you need to do to stop them from doing it. This is not a
Okay,
conversation about what
I'm
people are
totally,
not
I see you,
doing.
totally.
It's a
I
conversation
totally,
about what
I understand.
people are doing.
But what you said was this right here, and the part that I'm having an issue with getting with you saying they're guilty, and there are certain people that's doing these certain things all the time. There are some people, but there are some people that, excuse me, that's been incarcerated, get out years later, 5, 10, 20, 30 years later, found out that they didn't do the very thing that we're pointing, that some people point the finger at them at and say you did this. They
It's
didn't do
because
it.
they were not guilty. They were
And
innocent
that's my point. That's my point.
and
Not
they were
everybody,
falsely
not everybody
convicted.
that's locked, not everybody that's locked up is guilty. That's my point. Not everybody
Exactly.
that's
So
locked up
you
is
don't
guilty.
want to do nothing because that there are
That's not
people
what
who
I
are
said.
locked up that are not
That's not,
guilty.
no,
So
that
you
has
don't
nothing
want
to
to
do with what
take
I said.
action to
That
do
has nothing
something
to do with
about
what I
the
said.
crime going on
No,
right now.
that has nothing to do with what I said, Leonard. No, I said I'm specifically talking about the people. There are some people that has been locked up and did not
Got it.
commit those
Got that.
crimes. There are
Got
some
that.
people that spent years in prison. I brought up earlier
Got that.
The Central Park Five. They spent years in prison, man. They didn't do
Got that.
anything. They didn't do
Got
anything.
that.
Why were they locked up?
This conversation is not about that.
Okay,
Can-
but see what it is.
I can sort of, I can sort of mend this
Mhm.
because
I see
this
you,
is
Tim.
what's going on. I agree with Leonard. I love the three strikes law when it's needed and as long as it's not being abused or misappropriated. Like you don't want to use against shoplifters, petty criminals. You
Hey,
know,
keep going for a
you
second.
have some
My phone
homeless
came out.
people that actually commit crimes to go to jail so they can have somewhere to sleep when it's cold or because they're hungry. You don't want nobody getting life in prison because they did that, because they went and stole a pencil, because they knew they was going to get in trouble for shoplifting. But at the same time, I agree with the three strike law myself. I get where Leonard is coming from because there are cases where you have the Ted Bundys, the Jeffrey Dahmers, those people that are extremely violent criminals. For some reason, they may be mentally ill, but they're deviant. They're violent, and they continue to get out and do the same thing. They've killed people before. They get out on the technicality. They do it again, and or they just might like to assault people. They just, you have some people like that that they're just out for bad. It's been proven. The prison system is full of people that just keep continuously doing these crimes and going back and forth for them. So I'm in favor of it. I think everybody's in favor of taking off a habitual offender or terrorist, but at the same time, we don't like to we don't want innocent people that have changed their lives or that didn't do the crime to get caught up in it. So therefore, once again, we have laws that almost put everybody into the same category, but we have to realize that we need to look at each case individually because too many people are getting caught up in the third strike law that is meant for violent criminals.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want to see a shoplifter, a petty criminal, going to life for prison for life, and all of a sudden, but what did he get that charge for? Man, do you know that joker went in there in the Dollar General and
Mm-hmm.
stole a roll of tissue, a
Mm-hmm.
4-pack of tissue? Well, did he need the tissue? Nah, but it was going to be cold outside that night and he hadn't eaten anything.
Mm-hmm.
Should he
Wow.
get life in prison? This is third strike.
Mm-hmm. And see, and that's my point right there, man. And like I said, I've gone in the store, and I don't have strikes and all that stuff. I don't have all that stuff, but I've gone in the store, man, and went to buy something, and had something in my hand, pay for everything, and forgot I had it in my hand. I forgot. I walked out the store, and this what I do. I go back and I say, look here, I forgot to pay for this. And when I pay for my stuff, I forgot to pay. And the people look at me. The manager of the store, he looked at me straight and said, man, you came back. I said, yeah, man. I need to pay for this. But I forgot when I went out the door, it had the thing going off. They could have called the police. They could have did all kind of crazy things because I forgot. I made a mistake. I forgot to pay for it. It wasn't intentional. I didn't intentionally go in there say I'm gonna steal this little thing, something in my hand. It's not that expensive. It's in my hand. I
So
paid for everything.
to
I
me,
paid for
that's what
everything else.
reform would come in there, because
Mm-hmm.
you can't take the three strike law away, because it was created for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
If
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't necessary, it wouldn't have never been created. But it
Yep.
had to be created because you had very violent criminals, repeat habitual offenders that continue to get out and do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't deserve to get out of prison the first time. Maybe they were institutionalized and they love that lifestyle. I've heard people say today, hey man, I do better in prison. And they do some of the wildest things to go back, some horrific things. So yeah, it was actually, it was needed. If it wasn't needed, it wouldn't have ever been put there. The thing is it's being abused and exploited
Yep.
by, once again, people in the judicial system that use their own personal discretion on how they
Mm-hmm.
want to prosecute. Maybe they're doing it because they want to build a career. So they
Mm-hmm.
don't care what you did. They just need this conviction. So when they get ready to run for state attorney, most 300 convictions and death penalty rates. But man, how many of those people ain't supposed to be on death row while
Exactly.
you on your ride to state attorney and then governor, then president?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Tiffany, you had your hand up. What's on your heart, sis?
I think about the movie Life with Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
And the cop killed the dude, right? And then they got charged and convicted of murder and
Mm-hmm.
spent 40 years in on the
On the farm.
on the
Prison.
farm, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, when the guy came and they recognized them and stuff, and the officer was on the ground, he said, "At least we got 40 years free labor out of them." You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And that happens all the time. And
Yeah.
the problem with the three strikes thing, say you're an innocent person, right? And you're in prison. Now you in prison and you got to live under those prison rules. So now
Mm-hmm.
you get into an altercation with somebody, you defending yourself, and you kill somebody in prison because you protecting your virginity or whatever you fighting for. Now you convicted of something else. That's strike two. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? You wasn't even guilty. Look at that, the boy they locked up for the book bag situation. The Browder kid. What's his name? Browder?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He had a
Police,
doggone
police.
book bag and he went in there being abused and all kinds of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I don't, and as far as I hear what Leonard's saying and everything, but you know what? Nobody is born a criminal.
Mm-hmm.
You turn into criminals. Even some of our great grandparents and stuff like that. The lottery system came from us running numbers and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. So everything that we learned from somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just bad kids. No kid is born bad. It's their environment, their circumstance, or whatever. And yeah, they're bad, and yeah, they need, you know, something to happen to them. But I don't think they're throwaway kids. And for me to be on this Christian platform, it's messed up that you just ready to throw people away because even God doesn't do that. You know what I'm saying? As long as you got breath, you got an opportunity to turn your life around and stuff. And just because it doesn't happen when you want it to happen doesn't mean that it can't happen. You can love anybody out of a situation if you give them the time and the effort and stuff like that. And it's hard to tell somebody how to behave if they've never seen it done. If you're born into a family with a whole bunch of criminals and stuff like that, you can't say, baby, when you grow up, you can go to college and stuff like that when the richest person in their family is a doggone drug dealer.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what I'm saying? We can't be throwing people away because nobody showed them the right way. Now,
Mm-hmm.
if you out there molesting people, look at the Bobby DeBarge story that we were talking about the other day, right? Their
Mm-hmm.
father, you know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? A Caucasian man married a black woman, had all these babies, and was raping them. You know what
Wow.
I'm saying? And then the
Mm-hmm.
child becomes a molester and starts molesting his siblings. And then he becomes bisexual, whatever, goes out and gets HIV. And you know, when he's on his deathbed, who comes and kisses him on his forehead? His daddy.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? We
Wow.
got to start reading the books of these people and stop throwing people away just because they're crackheads or because they're thieves and stuff like that. Why are they like that in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
Fix that problem. And once we
Exactly.
start working on those problems, then we don't have to have these type of conversations.
Cassandra.
Yeah, I've already, pretty much made my position clear on that. I don't believe in three strikes unless it's certain circumstances. We know that there are certain people, but that can be, we can regulate, what would send you to jail for the rest of your life. We can have that set, but not just people like these kids, the ones that are dealing the drugs. A lot of these kids are misguided, and I've worked with them in federal prison, state prison. I'm telling you, some of these kids are. I mean, they are strictly caught up in the system. They are not like hardened criminals, just out to hurt somebody. A lot of these kids have been in survival mode, and I don't want to see somebody that needs to. Tiffany said it. Sometimes they just need guidance. They need to see a different way. They need to know that there is a different way, and that's why when I taught at Fed, I would always tell them. I mean, I always said to those guys, "Listen, if you were a drug dealer, you're a businessman. You have employees. You understand what I'm saying? Especially those that were like running, trafficking and stuff. I said, you all of this, what all you need to do now is flip it on the right side. We know that you can run a business. Now
Mm-hmm.
let's flip that and do something positive with it. And I think that's what we need more of.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Can
That's
I
good.
just say something real quick?
Real quick,
I,
I gotta make my
I had
circle.
I had an event at
Mm-hmm.
Slater Elementary School on Pryor Road, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we talked to third graders, and I had black business owners and authors come in, and we had an assembly. We gave away books and stuff, and I told them the importance of reading. And then we all broke off, and we all had a classroom to talk to. And when I
Mm-hmm.
spoke to the class I had, I asked each and every one of those kids what they wanted to be, what they like to do, their hobbies. And then I told them what careers they could have in those hobbies. And then at one point I said, you know what? I don't care what your mothers and fathers or anybody tells you. You can be anything you want in this life as long as it's positive. And this little boy just sat there and tears just rolled down his face because nobody ever told him that before. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Nobody ever told him that. And then a year later, the little girl that was shy in my class, I'm just in a random spot. And this little girl runs up to me because she remembered me coming to her class. And she hugged me and she said, Miss Tiffany, I did everything that you told me. You know what I'm saying? These
Mm-hmm.
kids need help.
Mm-hmm.
These kids need help. They being left in the home by themselves. Or they're in the house and their parents in the room doing drugs and God knows what and stuff like that. They raising themselves and stuff. Every kid that you think is bad, they're not bad. They're being neglected in some form or fashion. And we gotta be the ones to recognize that and step in because they don't have the aunties or the grandmothers that we had that could come in and help these kids.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. Badge, I see your hand up, brother. What's on your heart?
Yeah, that's something I actually touch on from time to time. Is it's wild, and I understand some of the things that's being said and stuff like that. Uh, I can respect it as well. Um, but the issue that I see a lot is if we're supposed, who's going to do the investigating?
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to look into these individual cases? Who's going to make sure if they want help, they'll get it? Who's going to pay for it? What happens if they're not eligible for the health insurance to cover for that counseling? What happens if there's not a sliding scale that they can actually use to get proper help?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, some of these kids are doing a lot of messed up things because of their environment and other things.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes the only way they're going to get help is by going to jail.
Wow.
Because maybe their community doesn't have anything available.
Mm.
So it's sad to say that.
Mm-hmm.
Yet look at our communities. How many of the kids in our communities are being bullies and doing a whole bunch of negative things? Bringing
Mm.
knives to school, bringing guns to school, or, I mean, also depending on where you live, some teachers are now able to carry. So it's, there's this norm that's out there. Um, that's just part of our society.
Mm.
And it
Wow.
starts in our communities.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
So I know some people might have an issue with what I'm saying. And there are some people that are out there that are doing their best to help the kids. But how about the ones they can't get to? Who are
Mm.
helping them?
Wow.
So, like, I can understand what you're saying about the people that's been in jail that are innocent and all that kind of stuff. And no, they shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
So there was there's a reason why they are in there. And if they are innocent, the people that put them in there needs to be investigated, in my opinion, to find out why they prosecuted somebody that was innocent and was proven to be innocent.
Mm. Wow. Okay.
So, it's yet to me, the bigger issue is this topic is talked about all the time. Yet, there are some people that, they talk about the community. They talk about, kids not being brought up in good communities, and everyone can change with love. I want to see some of the people saying that go talk to these serial killers and see if they can really change their life.
Mm. That's again, that's a wide open conversation right there, which could take us another 10 days to get to the bottom.
So
Well, hold on, Badger. I got to circle around, brother. Let me go. We got another caller. We got Tucson. Tucson. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
All right, I'm good.
Tucson. I need to hear directly from you, brother. How do you feel about the three strike rule?
Mm-mm.
Ain't no telling what we about to get, y'all. How do you feel about the three strike rule?
Well, you know what?
Oh Lord.
People know the three strike rule,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't agree with it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you know that you have three strikes, shouldn't you be more careful?
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't you consider your position or what it's going to cost you?
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, I have a problem with it, but I don't have a problem with it
Mm-hmm.
because I know some people that if you let them continue on, you're going to keep doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
The
Okay.
bad thing about it is we don't handle things on a case by case basis
Mm-hmm.
because you don't search out the condition or the situation of the individual. You put everybody in a bag and you just, or in a bucket, and you pull from the bucket and say, or you just take the bucket and say, everybody, you're going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know any background. We don't know what it is because some people, the environment that they live in, uh, kind of molds them into the person they wind up being.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me. I just believe that.
Mm-hmm.
But then, I'm not gonna act crazy today. Right.
Today
But I
on
heard
Way Out
on
Wednesday.
Badger, I wanna reflect on something Badger said.
Okay.
Who's gonna pay for
Mm-hmm.
it? And I don't know if I was clear on what he was saying, but somebody's paying for it anyway in another the prison system, you paying for that. That's
Mm-hmm.
not free
Mm-hmm.
to house people. It's not free.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody making a profit off of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And drugs don't just wind up in the neighborhood. Somebody
Mm-hmm.
bring it there.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that's fussing and fighting and cutting and killing each other, they don't have no boat or no plane or no barge to bring nothing into the community. There's
Mm-hmm.
somebody that have money that has a system that they know how it works, and they know that at the end result, they're going to house people
Mm-hmm.
in prison, incarcerate them, and they're going to repeat because they're addicted. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
wakes up in the morning and say, "Oh, I think I want to be addicted today.
Mm-hmm.
I think I want to be used and abused or
Mm-hmm.
manipulated, raped, this, that, sex trafficking. I want to be in that life. I want to have that lifestyle. Nobody does that,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but somebody thinks that over and lays out the scenario for people that are hurting to get into because they know that hey, this little neighborhood, you know that they don't sell malt duck. You remember malt duck?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all don't remember malt duck?
Yeah, we remember Mall Duck. Yes, we do.
And old English 800,
Yeah.
and I think they had a 900.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't sell that in every neighborhood.
No.
I'm
No.
out of time.
You're out of time. You're out of time. Curtis, what's on your heart, brother? Kurt, you there?
Yeah, man, I had to get to my mute button. Um, man, man,
Leonard,
you know
get
what
it.
my big problem is?
What's
My
that?
big problem is this:
Mm-hmm.
if the rule is going to be applied, apply it fairly. I don't want to hear uh, if you broke the law, then you should just go to jail. Because that's crap. That's the easy way to just throw it off, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you and we all done worked in the prison system. Most of us done worked in the prison system before.
Yeah.
If you were audit on the files, what we find is there's a larger majority of guys serving boatloads of time for what Rico called earlier petty crimes.
Mm-hmm.
There's a larger percentage of the guys serving boatloads of time for petty crime. Now, what needs to happen, Leonard is right in saying or alluding to that the one thing that he alludes to all the time. If there's a problem, you need to put people in office that's going to change the statute because the rules and the laws that's rolled out is all based on the statute. Those are laws, those are statutes. So they say, okay, if a guy blah 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 blah, he should get blah 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 blah. The
Mm-hmm.
problem we have in America is the statutes are not written thoroughly enough to state that okay, this statute applies to all, irregardless, irregardless. But you know, that's neither here nor there, man. The justice system, they right with putting a blindfold on her because it's blind. They try and cover it up and say that the system she's wearing a blindfold because she sees no color and or culture.
Mm.
You know, law is trying carried out to the full extent and it's carried out fairly and evenly. It's not. It's not. And to even think that, man, I'm from Baltimore City. I'm from a city where they actually had a policy and probably still got it. It's called the body on a body. I'm that kid that they had sitting down there for almost 6 hours. It took for my recruiter to get me out, had me down there for almost 6 hours. They were trying to put a body on a body, trying to say I robbed a bank, man. I ain't got no car, man. I was 20 years old. They got me sitting down here in an interrogation room, interrogating me about a bank robbery. Oh, you fit the description. It took for my recruiter, my one call. I didn't call a lawyer. I called my recruiter. Hey, look, man, they got me down here in this jail, man. They're telling me I robbed the bank. They get ready to take me in the interrogation room. Blah, blah, blah. I give him he come down there, and he basically tell him, y'all arresting him? No, this is an investigation. Oh, he's property of the federal government. I got the paperwork right here. You're not arresting him, turn him loose. You know what I'm saying? But to have this ideology that, oh, if you commit the crime, you do the time, that's okay. But what about the person who ain't committed the crime? Or what about the person who, Rico said something, and everybody alluded to it, right? When we talk about movies, do y'all remember Time to Kill?
Yeah.
Do anybody remember why the prosecutor took the case? Because they said in the movie. He took the case because guess what? It goes into what Rico was saying. He took the case because he wanted to be the next attorney general.
Yep.
Like, come on, man. Like, if that's what your ambitions is, hey, I ain't got no problem with your ambitions. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? Look, you go for your guns. But don't railroad people. Don't railroad people in society. And then you using the idea that black on black crime is so high and this, that, and the third. But then here it is, this white boy who got a rap sheet longer than the Great Wall of China can come up here and no 3-strike rules apply. I'm going to end with this. When they jammed me up in 1998, when I came home from overseas, and they jammed me up in 1998 with guns that I bought that belonged to me, not my guns, not none of that, registered guns that I bought. They was trying to give me 5 years, no suspended sentence, no parole, straight 5 years. Raheem, I ain't my criminal background is clean as the board of health. They tried to give me 5 years straight out the gate. White boy went up before me. He had handgun charges, he had dope charges, he had coke charges, he had weed charges, he had burglary charges. They gave him 5 years probation, 5 years unsupervised probation.
Wow.
5 years. So that's what I mean when I say the law, if you're going to run with it, then let it be applied evenly. That statute should not be one thing for one person and something totally different for another person, strictly based off the color of their skin.
Absolutely. This is Way Out West, so I want to jump around a little bit and find out what's on everybody's heart this morning. Rico, you got anything on your heart, man? What's your topic?
Man, this is a pretty good topic right here. I saw another story yesterday. It sort of goes back to you asking the question, all the children out of control in the school. I'm gonna say everybody in the schools are out of control. And I read a story of a 5-year-old child putting his teacher in the hospital. I saw a picture of the teacher today. And then I see a story this morning and come to find out the same 5-year-old child don't put the same teacher in the hospital 2 more times before this one. Can you imagine? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm going to tell you something, man. People were once children, and children are products of their environment. and their environment are created by conditions and with conditions that may vary from region to region, block to
Mm-hmm.
block. In some environments, being beaten up to join a gang is the culture and the way of life. In some
Mm-hmm.
environments, women laying back and letting 4 or 5 dudes run up in her to get in that gang is a culture. It's a
Mm-hmm.
part of that environment. They were misprogrammed. Somewhere they were dysfunctionally programmed to accept that behavior and think it was normal. Now, when these people go out into the regular world from a youth, want to be a blood or a crip or MS-13 and thinking this way of life is normal, man, how do we address that? Because sooner or later they might be the ones doing the drive-bys and got a number of lives and they the 3-strike criminals.
Mm-hmm.
But we go back and we ask, well, why is this possible? Why are the schools out of order? Why are teachers going to the hospital 3 times from 5-year-old students? And why are students acting like that in school? What's going on at home? All of it
Mm-hmm.
goes back to funding. All of it goes back to economics, poverty, lack of
Mm-hmm.
exposure and access to proper training. And so, when you don't have access to a better way of life, when you don't have access to people that believe in academics and excellence,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to gravitate towards whatever people around you say is acceptable. We look at bullying. When I come up where I was from, bullying was normal. That's just the way you have to do it. But it ain't
Mm.
normal. Bullying ain't normal. Sometimes it
No.
goes overboard. Sometimes that bully like to be the molester. He a little sicker than the other bullies. He ain't like the rest of the boys. When he bully, he like to take you out in the woods and pull your pants down and hold you down.
Mm.
Oh, well, now what if that becomes acceptable? So we have to ask the question why. Last night when we was on the panel, and Elder Shiro asked that about a person killing themselves, and then or killing themselves and then actually doing it to hurt the other person
Mm-hmm.
with the threat. And I had to come back and tell them, well, you know what, man, they so messed up in the head that they're willing to do that so they can hunt the other person. Because the question is why? Why would people do the things that they do? Why are these children misinformed and acting the way they act? And those are the questions. We could go back and talk about how the school are out of order all day long.
Mm-hmm.
We could talk about how the children are out of order. And we did that. We went and named each thing that these children are doing. They fighting, they screwing, they
Mm-hmm.
shooting. They got it on video. They going viral. They got cell phones in school. But it still begs that you have to ask, why? Why are they doing these things? And it's
Mm.
because they don't have enough funding. Like I said, it doesn't happen in every community.
Yeah,
Why
exactly.
isn't it happening in every community? Why isn't it happening in the private schools? Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't have the different things in place to handle these children that aren't getting the proper attention at home. This is a whole new world we're in now. Parents are
Absolutely.
working 3 shifts. They ain't working just 1 shift and coming home 9 to 5. 9 to 5 is just a cliche now.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to really ask the question why with a lot of these positions that we take or opinions that we have. We talking about 3 strikes. Why is 3 strikes necessary? Well, yeah, it was necessary. But at
Mm-hmm.
the same time, why should we also make sure that people avoid getting caught in a trap? Because
Mm-hmm.
it can become a trap. The prison system can become a trap. So, it's like I said, we all have opinions on different things, and we point out different problems that we see. But I'm with Leonard on this. A lot of times we do have to start looking more at why and coming up with the solution. Tiffany says, you have to look at why. What's the reason behind these behaviors? What's the reason behind this atmosphere that we're living in? What's the reason behind Bobby DeBarge touching on his children and his sibling? What happened to him? And
Mm-hmm.
that's the way we have to look at things.
Exactly. Exactly. Cassandra,
Yes, sir.
yesterday was International Women's Day, correct?
Yes.
What would you like to do in recognition of International Women's Day yesterday? And anybody you like to highlight or speak about, or what's on your heart?
Man, there are so many amazing women out there doing, I mean, great things, not just for their communities, but business wise. And we just have to keep on pushing. I know that, I'm 62. I'm just fulfilling some of the dreams that I have. My thing to any woman, I don't care what race, what age, pursue your dreams. And that's, what a couple of days ago on set, I was talking to a group of women. I told you some of them were out of control, but it was some of them that really, was listening and wanted to hear it. And my thing to them was pursue your dream
Mm-hmm.
now while you have the chance, because you don't know what tomorrow is going to hold for
Mm-hmm.
any of us. Because
Exactly.
look at me, 62, I'm just fulfilling a
Mm-hmm.
lot of my dreams and my desires, but I've attained things that people said that I could never attain
Mm-hmm.
because I was persistent, even though people were telling me something different.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's good. That's good. Tiffany, in light of International Women's Day, is there anybody you want to speak about, or anybody you want to acknowledge, or just talk to me about International Women's Day?
Is there an International Man's Day?
I don't know.
Because where did these I'm not understanding where all these days come from. You know what I'm saying? When we were growing up, we had Christmas, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Easter, 4th of July, Labor Day, and Memorial Day. Now we got more days, holidays, all these other stuff. You know what I'm saying? And we get into this programming. It's Women's Day every day for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's Thanksgiving every day for me. I don't need a certain day to celebrate a woman and stuff like that. If you go on my Facebook page, I rock with us every day, all the time. So I don't need nobody to tell me a day or a month or whatever. But to answer your question, I'm gonna give a shout out to two people. One person I know, one person I don't know. The person I don't know is Marva Collins. Marva Collins was a teacher in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? And she wanted to do great things for the students because they were just being passed on along and they didn't care about their education. So she created a school in her own home and she had tuition, but if you couldn't pay, she didn't stop you from coming. And when she started the school in her home, those kids were smarter than the kids in the public schools. And so, and she loved on them. You know what I'm saying? She mothered them. She gave them the nurturing that they needed to be successful. And then the other woman that I want to shout out is my grandmother Nanny, Lillian Allen. She instilled in my brother and I when we were little kids that you take care of the elders and you take care of people around you. You go visit, you make sure people are good. You know what I'm saying? And she had money, but she always made sure that we were humble and we stayed in a humble place, you know? And she made sure that you look out for people. You go visit people in the nursing homes and stuff like that. You make sure they're good. If they need their houses cleaned up or something, you tidy them up. And when I was a little kid, and I might have shared this story before, when I was a little kid and we would go to these old people's houses smelling like mothballs and stuff like that, we'd be like, God dang, why we gotta come over here all the time? Nanny, I want to go blah blah blah. Because we would stay for hours. But you know what? As a 48-year-old woman, I could look back at those times with them elderly people we would visit, and all I remember now is the joy you could see in their faces. You know what I'm saying? Because we were the only people to visit that week. And they seeing the little kids full of life and they on their way out. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I remember now more than not wanting to be there when I was young. So I just feel like we need to get back to basics and we keep celebrating women and stuff like that. Well, women, if we doing all these great things, then why is the world still messed up? Because there's more women than men on the planet. So therefore, we got to get it together in order for everybody else to fall in line.
And yeah, as you see, Raheem went off, so I'm pretty sure he want to go to Charles. There he is now.
There you go. Yeah, man. It's a lot going on, and Tiffany, I was actually able to listen to what you were saying. Now the young lady you said that started the school in her home, what was her name again?
Her name is Marva Collins, and there was a movie done with Cicely Tyson. She played Marva Collins in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's powerful. And you say that a lot of times the students that she had coming into her home and the school started her home were much more smarter than the students that was actually in the schools. That's powerful right there. That's somebody that's taking a stance and seeing a need. That's someone that's taking a stance, seeing a need, and stepping up in the gap and taking care of that need. That's
And
what we
just
all.
real quick, everybody keeps talking about money, 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 money. She didn't
Mhm,
have the money to do what she did. And
mhm,
even though she had a tuition or whatever, if people couldn't pay it, she didn't stop them from coming. So we
mhm,
always talk about what we would do if we had money. It's not all about the money all the time.
exactly, exactly. Wow, that's good. That's good. And like I said again, I know Cassandra, man, she have a love for stuff like that too. So I know that really touched her to know. I don't know if she already knew about the young lady, but to find out that she's actually out there and did those things, I know that touched her heart. Charles, good morning. How you doing this morning?
What's up, brother? What's up, y'all?
Charles, I'm gonna kick this thing off with you, man. We've been talking about a couple of things. We've been talking about our kids out of control, but one of the things that we've been talking about that's been a big part of the conversation. You can't hear me. You can't hear me, Rico. You can't hear me.
I can hear you, but it's a whole lot of other stuff going on.
Okay, some noise in the background or something.
Now somebody doing something.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
if it.
You hear it
Is that
now?
Yeah,
is that?
somebody just did it again, like they were picking on something. I don't know what it is.
Oh, probably somebody typing on the thing. Yeah, probably somebody typing. But we asking about the three strike rule. Charles, how do you feel about the three strike rule?
I mean, 3 strikes isn't like in prison wise. You mean?
Yes, yeah. If you third strike, you prison for the rest of your life. No,
I
no,
don't.
no
I don't
get out.
believe that a person should be in the prison for the rest of their life, but I think they need a long term. They need a long stretch, though. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
3 felonies, and they got to be like no nitpicky stuff, but felonies, man.
Mm-hmm.
Not no nitpicky anything that can happen everyday type thing. But three
Mm-hmm.
felonies, and you've been charged with 3 felonies, not just charged, but you've been convicted of 3 felonies. Because being
Mm-hmm.
charged is different than being convicted.
Mm-hmm.
And if you need to be off the street for a while because you can't get it together.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Okay.
I've been around some folks similar to those things, and man, you can't just keep coming in and out the prison system, and every time you come out, you terrorize the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
We tired
Mm-hmm.
of, we don't want them folks in the neighborhood. Just like, see, black people we want a nice neighborhood too. That's why we move out of certain neighborhoods. We don't
Mm-hmm.
move
Okay.
out the neighborhood because we don't love them. We move out
Mm-hmm.
the neighborhood because we love our family. We want to keep them safe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
yes, we can change the neighborhood, but the neighborhood got to put forth some effort also by we got to cooperate with the police and things like that. We got to, in Chicago they got a 75% rate of murders not being answered.
Mm-hmm.
75% of rate of murders not being answered.
Mm-hmm.
So as for the 3 strike rule altogether, as long as it's fair, and meaning like felonies, only felonies, not no daggone stealing some apples or some stuff like that. That's not a felony.
Mm.
Unless it's $500 worth of apples or something. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't talking about Apple computers. I'm talking about just apples.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Good deal. Good deal. And see, that's the thing right there, man. That's my thing. Rico, can you still hear that noise? Is it cleared up? It has cleared up. Okay, good, good, good. And that's my thing, man. Three strike, the rest of your life is a long time. Now, if you get three strikes at the beginning of your life, before you're 25 years old, naturally when you're 40 or 50 or something like that, hopefully you've matured in a way where you're a better person now.
You
Should you still
said
have
naturally or
hopefully,
hopefully?
hopefully, let's say
Okay.
hopefully. I think that hopefully you matured in a way where you are a better person now. Should you still be still have to stay the rest of your life in prison?
No, but
That's
you think about the prison system, and I think Rico talked about this before. It's only built for you to come back.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
When they had skills and all that type stuff in the prison system, not saying that you have to have it in the system, but the recidivism rate wasn't as high,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. Let me go to the phone line. We have another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Good morning.
Good morning. What
How y'all kings this morning?
hey, doing good, doing good. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Rosalind calling from Mississippi.
Rosalind from Mississippi. Rosalind, I know you got some thoughts on this three strike rule thing. And thank you for calling. I definitely appreciate you calling in this morning. I know you have some ideas and some thoughts about this three strike rule. How do you feel about it?
Oh wow, I could talk about it all day. Listen, I started working in corrections at 19 years old. Just
Mm-hmm.
went to corrections to get a job, was going to college to be an elementary education teacher. After working there for about 10 years, I changed my entire major to criminal justice.
Mm.
A lot of people can say, well, you do the crime, you do the time. Until you actually work behind those walls or have someone behind those walls as a family member, you will
Mm-hmm.
change your whole demeanor
Yeah.
before you even say that.
Mm-hmm.
Prison system in Mississippi, my opinion, after doing research, statistics, etc., has been set up, especially three strikes, set up especially for black men.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm just gonna put it out there. I know I work behind the walls. You have other races, other male races that get jobs specifically to work at prisons so they can have this power streak over black men. You have men that have been beaten, black men, white men are in prison beating black men because they have that authority to do it.
Wow.
It's set up. The three strike rule is set up for you to come back. I mean, think about it. You go to prison 5 years. You do your 5 years. You get out. You can't get a job because you're a convicted felon. You can't get an apartment. You're a convicted felon. They have so many stipulations on you, so they set it up for you to come back. So that's where I come in. I have a nonprofit where we do transitional housing. We set up places for guys to live when they come out. We get them jobs. We take them to work. We make sure that they get what they supposed to get, so they
Mm-hmm.
don't go back to prison. Now you're gonna have some guys that they just don't want help, but you have those guys that do want help.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? So the three strike rule is set up just for you to come back. Man, you got guys in prison doing life for marijuana. Do you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Marijuana charges.
Yeah.
So when you say they do the crime and they do the time, you have to think about, wow, you got somebody sitting in there for life for marijuana.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's really crazy.
Wow. Wow. And Leonard, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
Good conversation and people posing their perspectives, and it definitely um, is different, especially if you've done it like for research purposes and sitting on boards and things like that, and listen to community issues. And
Mm-hmm.
like say for instance, even with our organization, we deal with both the police and police to people who have committed crimes to turn themselves in to try to find out information about certain things. So there's one thing to say you dedicated to cleaning up an issue and then saving your dirt.
Mm-hmm.
You can't, I mean, how do you all expect things to get better? They're just gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. I mean, crime is rampant. That is a fact.
Mm-hmm.
You can look the other way all you want. It's going to be there, and people are going to be doing what they're doing. Like when I talk about being raised, some of you all confuse neighborhood with community as well. Because a lot of times when somebody say my community, I'll be specific. If I'm talking about the black community, then we know what that's about. But your neighborhood may be different. You black person say our neighborhoods. My neighborhood is mixed.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm still black. So how do I fit in your community? I don't ever think it's okay to harm other people. And I'm sick of
Mm-hmm.
people focusing on these excuses on why people do stuff as if this ain't a simultaneous conversation that you must be having. You can't get stuck on how you feel about outcomes, but you present it with a present problem. So your feelings on these outcomes is going to keep you from doing what is necessary to do now. That sounds like why people's lives are in the situation that they're in. I mean,
Mm.
there has to be a serious approach. Like the young lady was on the line now. She saw a hole that she could fill.
Mm-hmm.
Transitional housing. That addresses an issue that individuals coming out of prison have. That's what justifies it because that's what it does. That's what it's supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're talking about, say for instance, California, for instance, California had a problem with 3 strikes, so they went in there, amended theirs a bit, and they resolved it for serious and heinous crime.
Mm-hmm.
The concept hasn't changed, and that's something I guess to be studied on why this psychology exists. That you would allow all this empathy towards certain people and not towards others,
Mm-hmm.
or what is the fine line for you? Because as a society, you can say crimes involving violence. You can say that
Mm-hmm.
and put
Mm-hmm.
that into law. But this,
So it's not.
I've
So it's
never,
not just.
I've
So,
been,
so basically, so it's not just an across the board type situation. Three
well,
strikes,
one,
one charge.
as long as you allow discretion, you allow for racism.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're concerned about racism, that's where it comes from because you allow discretion. There is no
Mm-hmm.
law that says black people get treated this way because they black. That's not a law anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. You're doing
But,
things. You're doing
mm,
things. You're not just being black. You're doing things.
mm-hmm. But see, my thing is this right here, and you're absolutely right. There is no law anymore that says that, but at the same time, though you can certainly take it off the books, but you still haven't taken it out of the minds and of the individual that's implementing the laws or pushing the laws. You haven't taken it out of their minds, and unless until we're able to take it out of their minds and their heart, then that still could very well be the case.
And I
Um.
think that's and that's one of the biggest problems in the community. You're
Mhm,
trying to fix, you're trying to come up with these spiritual solutions to tangible physical problems, and they don't
mhm.
work. They
Okay.
don't work. Your feelings don't work.
That's fine. That's fine. But my thing is, like I say, unless you change the way a man think or change his heart, then some of these issues, some of these past demons, is still going to be there. They're not going to go away. And that's just me talking. Let me go to Willa. Willa, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem. Good morning, team. Uh, you're talking about the prison system. Like I said on yesterday, I know a little bit more about the federal and also the state system because I know personally people that have been in it. Now, in the 1900s, and I'm going to say the late 1900s, they increased the time for young men or men in general, anybody basically, that had got caught with weight when you talk about drugs. Because
Hmm.
mostly during that time in Chicago, a lot of them, young men were becoming drug dealers. So the time went from maybe maybe 5, 6 years to 25 to 20 years.
Mm,
And they also threw not only a state crime, but they made it a federal crime. If you
mm,
know anything about the criminal system between federal and state, when you go into the federal system, you have to do 85%. It's not like a 3 strike rule in the state, because
mm-hmm,
that's when they do the 85% rule when they go into the state. But when you go into a fed, you're doing 85% of
mm-hmm.
the time. So yeah, it seemed like, and just like I understand what Charles was saying when he was saying that there was no black crime and no color crime, but it's how they mask it. It's how they undercover,
Mm-hmm.
and how they change something without saying it's a racist thing. But when you know, like in the city of Chicago, you know that there was a lot of drug dealers and most of them were young, based on whatever reason it was or not. The laws changed. So how could a murderer who committed murder got 10 years, but somebody who got caught with weight did 20 to 25 years? That just doesn't make any sense. It
Mm-hmm.
didn't make, and it still doesn't make sense. So yeah, and just to say they do disguise certain things and not use color, you look at the people who are driving the CDL trucks now. The laws have changed. Why? Because of a lot of our black brothers now driving the CDL trucks. And so I know because I knew somebody who was older who was driving the CDL trucks, and now that a lot of our young brothers who are trying to do something different with their life, they're changing the law. So yeah, they do it without letting us know that it's a law based on color, and
Mm-hmm.
that's my opinion
Wow.
You
Wow.
sis.
and fact.
Wow.
Thank you, sis. That is facts. That
Mm-hmm.
is facts, Raheem. And I'll give you one. I'll give you one to go with it. Do you know a whole bunch of brothers that's serving Fed time right now? They got 5 years. These brothers is 18 years old, 18 to 19 years old. Do you know what the charge is?
What's that?
Drug solicitation over federal airspace.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what 18-year-old you know can own that own a helicopter or a plane and can
Mm.
fly drugs in and out of the country or around the country from state to state? How many 18, 19-year-olds you know got that kind of bread?
Not a lot, brother. Not.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you said that. You know why? Because it ain't none.
Mm-hmm.
The charge is if I call you, Raheem, on this cell phone that I'm on right now. If I call you and I say, Raheem, what you doing, bro? You say, man, I'm chilling, man. I say, look, man, man, I want to get me some smoke. You're like, oh, yeah, yo, I got you. You know what I'm saying? I got some smoke. Come on through. You know what I mean? You know, like, you got to leave me a little something, something. You know what I mean? A couple of dollars. I say, all right. I come to you. You know, the feds can pull me up and charge me with solicitation of drugs over federal airspace because I called you by cell phone, has a mandatory of 5 years. And like the sister said, out of them 5, you're going to do 85?
Mm-hmm.
Now tell me what that looked like for an 18-year-old kid.
Mm.
Tell me what that looked like now.
Wow. Wow. That's
Look like his parents should have taught him.
It looked
You
like
understand?
looked
And
the
then
same way to me at 25.
Say it again.
Huh?
Looks the same way to me at 25, 35, 45, 55.
no, it's not the same, man. It's
Somebody
not.
should have
Man.
taught him.
And I feel you. I get what you're saying, and you dead on point. But you're being too finite with this thing, brother. That's in my opinion. It's not the same. It's not the same. The average 18-year-old kid walking the street right now is realistically at a mind state of a 16-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
You
Listen, I had a
understand?
rifle.
If
I
you
had a
lock an
rifle.
Hold on. Go ahead, Curtis.
If you lock an 18-year-old up right now, an 18-year-old has a greater chance of becoming institutionalized than any 25, 30, or 35-year-old man. That is a guarantee. You know why? Because it goes back to something my grandmama said years ago. She said, baby, the devil ain't coming for y'all adults. He not coming for us. We done made our mind up. He's coming for those who can be persuaded. He's coming for y'all. Y'all chilling. That's who he's coming for. If you lock an 18-year-old up, the whole idea with the school to prison pipeline is to start creating a system that automatically took people mentally, emotionally, and spiritually to jail prior to them ever committing a crime. That's why when you look at projects, when you look at the old projects, why do you think they tearing the old projects down? Because the old projects was designed and built like a prison. Soon as you come out the door, how I know I lived in 2 of them. Soon as you come out your front door, the first thing you're looking at is a fence. The way that the project is arranged and built, it is built like a prison unit, like a tier.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one lane. It's not stairwells at the end and the elevators in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So I get what you're saying, and what you're saying is on point. Basically, if you don't want to do the crime, don't do the time. But what everybody else is saying, okay, we understand that, but you got to address the issue that the law is not being carried out fairly and evenly for all parties of interest. The law is supposed to govern all of us.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
It
Good
is
deal.
not supposed to be. It is not supposed to be applied to one sternly and then sugarcoat it for somebody else. That's just not That's not what it says on paper.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't
And to end, there is a book. I'm going to find out what the name of this book is today. But there's a book that judges are mandated to read that specifically says black men and black women get a different sentencing, should be sentenced different from white men and white women. There's a book
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
mandated for judges to read.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Let me do this. Before we go any further, let me catch everybody up to speed to where we are right now. We actually, this is the Morning Glow, and we're talking about the thing, the major part of the discussion right now. We're talking about the three strike rule, and how do you feel about the three strike rule? Everybody have their own opinion. Everybody have their own ideology as to how they feel about it, and everybody is have a right to have their opinion as to how they feel about it. But we're gonna go around. We're gonna talk about this thing. Charles, you was about to say something.
yes, sir. Why is I see a lot of people talking about black and white, and I get it. And I was in the prison system myself, and so it's also where you're locked up at. In one area have more blacks, and another area have more whites. That's just how it is. Even in Georgia, if you're locked up in Athens, you'll see more whites. If you're locked up in Decatur or Atlanta, you see more blacks. That's how most of the places are. But my thing is, if the system is set up against blacks and only blacks, and I'm not saying y'all saying only blacks, but I'm asking the question, why is the same system not hurting Mexicans or not hurting Asians? And I'm
You
not talking
just
about
said,
just and not when I say Asians, I mean like
wow.
people from Asia, the continent of Asia. Why is this system not hurting them? And then on top of that, what system is in place to keep black men from going to prison? What system is in place? See, I see everybody got systems in place for when they get out of prison. What system is in place to keep black men from getting locked up like this?
Let
Somebody
me
answer that for me.
let me do this. You said a piece of, you said if it's set up against blacks, and then you answer the question on the answer to that question. Rico, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
I didn't answer that question. I asked the question.
Hold on. Go ahead, Rico. Address that, brother.
I can't.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. I thought I just heard this man say, if the system, now we're going to forget, we're just going to throw history out the window. We're going to throw black codes and peonage, convict leasing. We're going to throw all that out the window that they came up with after slavery.
I'm talking
Prove
about
it in
right now.
history books.
Right now.
Hold on, Charles. Hold on, Charles.
We're gonna throw evolution out the window, and we're gonna throw affluenza. We're gonna throw affluenza out the window. That didn't just happen a few years ago. We're gonna act like we didn't just see the federal government, the Department of Justice, try to get Ahmaud Arbery's killers a plea deal, so they wouldn't have to let everybody know just how nasty these racists really were, and that it truly was a hate crime. So they really wouldn't get
question, man.
Charles, hold on, Charles. Let him answer your question. Let him speak.
Like
We'll
I said,
come back to you.
we're gonna throw all that. We're gonna throw all that out the window, and we're gonna say, if the system is set up against black people, why ain't it affecting the Mexicans and the Asians? Because it's set up against black people. Next,
Tiffany.
Why would a system be set up just for black people and not against everybody under white that's not white? Why would it? And then answer my second question: what system out there is set up to help blacks not go to prison? Shake your head. Answer that question though. What systems out there to set up to help blacks not
what
go to
system
prison?
From your place of argument, what system is set up to stop white people or Asian people or Mexican people?
I'm not talking about white people. I'm talking about black people.
No. See, my thing is, you want to specifically point the finger at one, but you don't want to do. You want to cut.
No,
one
I'm not even pointing the finger.
Listen, Charles.
You don't even understand the question.
Charles, hold on, brother. My thing is, you want to specifically point the finger at one. You want to cut one little small piece of the pie, but you don't want to deal with the whole pie. Deal with the whole pie, man. If you're going to do that, if you're going to say that, then there's another side of the coin. So what system is set up? What system is set up to stop other people from going to prison?
Family. Now,
and so black people don't have family.
I wanted you to give me.
Black people don't have family.
Answer that question.
Black people don't have
family
family
to keep you out of prison.
So black people don't have family is what you're saying to me.
family. Full families are set up to keep you out
So
of
black
prison.
people
Most
don't have
people with
families.
full families don't go to prison.
So every black person that's in prison don't have a full family.
The
Come on,
majority,
Charles.
yes.
Come on, Charles.
Yes,
Come
the
on, Charles.
majority.
Come on.
Yes.
Stop,
The
stop right there, brother.
majority.
Let me go. Hold on, Charles.
That's a fact.
Tiffany, Charles? Stop, brother. Tiffany, what's on your heart?
I really don't even want to speak because I'm feeling like
All right.
I don't want to use the word you don't want me to use on your show. You know what I'm saying? I really don't. But it's hard to sit on a panel full of people that look like me, acting like there's no problems in with black history. We talk about black people, black people, black people. Who gave us cocaine? White people gave us cocaine on the plantations because they wanted us to work longer and harder and then get mad at us because we have an addiction problem. When you're the ones that gave it to us in the first place. You used to have cocaine in medicine. You used to have cocaine in Coca-Cola. Used to have cocaine everywhere. But when we got our freedom, what did you do? You took it out. Why? Because you was afraid black men was going to start with white women. Check your history. You know what I'm saying? I get tired, and then I also get tired of people on this platform talking.
Tiffany, hold on, Tiffany. Take a breath. Take a breath. Take a breath. Hold on. Take a breath. Okay, now go. You about to go somewhere. Now go. Go ahead.
And I'm tired of people on this line because when I come on, I don't never say this person's wrong, that person's wrong, this person's wrong. I always state my opinion. But then you got these Encyclopedia Browns on this line who act like whatever they say is the law, and then what everybody else says is chump change unless there's somebody that they personally agree with. And there's a problem. And that's why we can't get nothing solved, because you got house Negroes that want to put everybody under the bus. You know what I'm saying? And kick all the throwaways away. And if you successful and you this and that, then you want to save them. They're worth saving, and then forget everybody else. I hate being on a platform like this because we can't even stick together. And then you worrying about Asians and all this other stuff. You know, when you can't walk outside your house without getting killed just because you're black, that's a problem.
Killed by who? Killed by other black people or killed by the police? I never walk out my house worried about if I'm gonna get killed.
Charles, I'm not gonna let you do that, brother. When we talk, we respect each other, brother. And I'm not gonna let you just speak up. When you talking, I tell everybody to stop. You have to extend that same courtesy, brother. You can't just jump in when you don't agree. Wait until I come to you.
Let them talk, because that's what they do. That's what they do because they think they're the goddamn authority, and they're not. And they are.
I'm the authority of what I know, but at least I ain't cursing.
Hey, Raheem.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yes. Yes.
Hey, check this out. Check this out.
Yes.
Tiffany, baby girl, I'm with you 150%. All right. First off, Chuck over there, what he did was he did a classic Republican tactic. He went to what is called whataboutisms. So what he's trying to do is divert the conversation or change the narrative that's specifically pointed at a specific person and or culture or set, right? That's a classic tactic. It's okay.
That's not what I'm doing.
Man, he gonna hire you. Don't worry about it. But I'm gonna tell you what I got from the horse's mouth, right? When I lived in New York, New Jersey, you know, I'm a big respecter of the police. I think it takes a special kind of person to wake up every morning and put a bulletproof vest on, not knowing if you're going to come home. I did it for 6.5 years. All right. So I respect that. So I'm talking to the locals, you know, local cops, you know, in front of my house one day. And I asked them the very same question that Charles just asked in so many words. You know what he told me? He said, we don't really have a problem out of them because most of them is scared of ICE.
Wow.
He said, hold on, Raheem, I ain't done. That's what he said to me, Raheem.
Hold on, bro.
That's what he said to me, Raheem. He say, that's why they get the bulk of the tickets. That's why they get the bulk of from the city and state. Because, see, we know that they're going to pay them without even contesting it. Because they scared that ICE going to come through the door and remove them
It ain't got nothing to do with family. Have you ever heard of the Yakuza? Have you ever heard of them? They're the only ones in New York society to take a 12-gauge shotgun and rig it so that you can load that thing with a clip. Have you ever heard of the Yakuza? Have you ever heard of the Chinese or Asian gangs? Have you ever heard of the Mexican? Have you ever heard of MS-13? The Salvadorian gangs?
Yep, all
You
that.
ever
Heard of
heard of the
all
drug
that. But still, you haven't
cartels?
answered my question.
Come on, man. Stop with all that foolishness, Chuck. Stop.
Good deal. Good deal.
You know, Donald said something. Donald said
Wrap it
something
up for me,
right
Curtis.
here
Wrap it up for
that
me,
I think
Curtis.
I'm gonna wrap it up. Donald said something that we heard it, but we didn't touch it. Listen, man. If you watch the movie The Messenger, it'll tell you exactly what Donald said. Ain't none of us got no ownership on no boats and no ships and all that and planes that fly these drugs over here. Not now one of us. Watch The Messenger, brother.
Wow. Toussaint, you had your hand up, brother. You had your hand up for a minute. What's on your heart?
When did we move out of America? Are we talking about some foreign country all of a sudden? Now look, let me tell you something. I respect everybody's opinion, and I love you all, every one of you. But I'm confused. Did we move? Did we move somewhere? Because since I've been on the face of the earth, maybe they changed the way they operate. But this country operates the same way. And they do the same thing over and over again. And I'm just confused. Because if we look at the system, it's designed a certain way. And we have to stop telling people just because they come out of a good home, they got to turn out all right. I had a brother, he'll bust you in the head in a minute. Had one that he would smoke whatever he felt like would burn him. And I come from a house. I'm a PK. What is it? How you call that? PK kid? What, preacher kid? So I don't care if you. But here's the thing: if I do something, and the mayor's son does the same crime, who you think gonna get the time in this country? If it's the judge's son, if it's the rich man's son, and me, how you think it's gonna wind up? You think it's gonna be fair over the top, across the board in this country? Now, if we move somewhere else, you tell me. I don't know. They are stupid.
Wow. We got so much going on right now. We got so many people on the phone lines. I want to touch everybody. I want to definitely touch everybody. Let me go before I go any further. I got to go back to Cassandra. Cassandra, what's on your heart? Come on now. And this is a no cussing zone.
Riggum, friggum, 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 riggum, riggum, friggum, friggum, friggum.
Call you and
That's it.
Call you and Tiffany, boy, y'all got some.
You did good,
That's it.
You and that Tiffany real, boy, y'all drop some cussing words in a minute, boy. It'll hurt my little virgin ears. I tell you, I can't hear that. I can't be listening to that kind of stuff. I can't be listening to that early in the morning. You messing up my whole day. What's on your heart, Cassandra?
I just said it. Riggum, friggum, friggum, riggum, 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 friggum.
Lord Jesus.
I love that character too, man. I love that character. That's Muttley, ain't it?
Yeah, exactly.
I love that, man.
Bishop, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Man, I'm wonderful, man. How in the world are you guys? Sound like y'all got a good topic going on, a great conversation. Hey, I had to pipe in, man.
Hey, this is Way Out Wednesday, brother. This is Way Out Wednesday.
Yeah. It
You,
truly is way out.
yes, sir. Hey, Rico, where you at, Rico? Watch this, Rico. Come back on the screen. Where you at? You put it over the what the we put on the doobity. You put it over the nobody. Go ahead, Bishop. What's on your heart?
He's so silly, man.
All the
I tell
time.
you the truth, man. Yeah, that was Muttley, trust me.
You put it
I
over the
grew up
nobody. What
watching
the
that
we put on the
cartoon.
doobity.
Never understood the word he saying.
Exactly.
But listen to the conversation, man. And they try to bring certain things into place. What I was listening to, and I don't say because somebody grew up in the project that they're heading to a life of crime.
Mhm.
No, I grew up. I had friends that lived in the project who are very successful business owners. It's the mindset of the individuals, what they want to do, what they want to make of themselves. It's society that tries to depict, particularly black folks, in a negative light. And there are a lot of blacks that feel the same way that certain individuals feel towards black. And one thing I'm reminded every time I look in the mirror, dang, you know what? I'm a dark color. Some would say black.
Mm-hmm.
And I know how I'm treated when I go around certain individuals and how they try to move away from us.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get a few of us that do get up, we see Brother Joe come, we want to move away from him or them based on, our aspect of who we have become. And we don't think about helping anybody that has not gotten to the top of the rail like I have.
Mm-hmm.
This is why our people, blacks, and I say it just like this, can never really do anything better until we come together.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that Malcolm said, and I still hold true to what Malcolm said. We got to come together, work together, to work towards change to better our situation.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not in a position to try to denigrate or down us as blacks and say because you came out the project or you came out of the hood that you got that hood mentality. And as a former police officer myself, I know that they target blacks.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they do.
Yes.
And the prison system is now the slave plantation.
Yes, it is.
So don't come at us. You come at me particularly. I say it like that. When you think you know something, when I was a part of the system, Rain, you was a part of the system yourself.
Yes,
you know
sir.
that.
Yeah. Worked in the prison system for 10 years,
You were in
brother.
law enforcement.
Yes,
so,
sir. Mm-hmm.
That's what people don't know about you a whole lot. That you also wore a badge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
exactly.
The truth is, that's our new plantation, and they want to put us in there for every little thing. And you said, if you remember George Zimmerman, his stepfather was a judge. George Zimmerman should have been charged with murder. But his stepfather, who was a judge, got him off. And then he turned around trying to sue different folks. And I said, a fool is a fool. And that's exactly what he is. Fool.
Exactly. Wow, there's so many different layers going on to this thing. Rosalind, what's on your heart, sis?
So much going on.
This is the morning glow.
So listen, I agree. I can't remember the guy that just spoke before me. I can't remember his name.
Bishop.
I agree with him. It actually, the prison has become the new slave plantation. And when you all get a chance, please go look up Michelle Alexander. And she speaks about the new Jim Crow. And that's what she speaks about. But until you actually work in a prison system and see the things that's going on, do your research. And you have to just not by opinion. And, you have to see this stuff that's actually going on. You understand, because a lot of people can say, well, I do the crime, do the time, do the crime, do the time, do the crime, do the time. Let me tell you, it's so much going on in the criminal justice system. You have, and thank God for the Innocent Project that just came about, very heavy. Look, we had a black guy. He was a school teacher. A lady had a wreck on the side of the road, a white lady. She had a wreck, and he administered CPR on her, and she died. They gave him 10 years. They gave him 10 years. He stayed in prison for 2 years, and finally he fought to get out. He finally got out. They wiped his record clean. I'm telling you, it's so many cases over here in Mississippi that a lot of people just don't know about because they're voicing their opinion, but they're not doing their research about it. And I'm telling you, it's really sad. I mean, I can go on and on and on about it, but yes, it's really sad. And hey, only thing we can do is, like you said, come together as Black people. We have to stick together, and that's the issue. We don't want to stick together. We're all against each other, but why? Why are we so against each other?
Exactly.
We should empower each other. Get out in our community. If there's something wrong, try to do something about it. That's how I live every day. I'm a community person.
Yeah.
I try to get out and help my community.
Exactly.
Raheem,
Yes.
Raheem,
Yes, ma'am.
is Rosalind done?
Yes, ma'am.
So, Rosalind, I absolutely love you. Thank you so much for your input. I'm so glad you're on here. And Bishop hit it on the head as well. Unless you have worked or been behind those walls, and yeah, everybody got a story, but some of the things that I would literally walk out of that prison, that federal prison, and I would sit in my car and cry at some of the stories. And I've told this story before. There was I think he was 18. We called him Baby Boy because he looked like he was about 15. And he was in for trafficking, right? And they gave that child 20 years, I think. They gave him 20 years in prison for trafficking. And when one day we just, we were in class and he just, he was talking to me and he was in tears and he was telling his story. And I was, wait a minute, how do you get 20 years for trafficking? Man, it amazes me. And I've said this before. There were cocaine dealers in the federal prison that I got a chance to speak to. I'm talking Italian guys, white guys. And they would tell me, I said, how long are you in, baby? 7 years. And then you got the kid that had crack and they give him 20 years. I don't get it. I don't understand. There's a disparity there, and we have to realize there is a racial issue when it comes to the justice system. Black bottom.
That's just what it is, Tiffany.
Right.
Before I moved to Atlanta, I took the test to become a correctional officer. And when I took the test, I was the only Black person in the room, the only female in the room, sat in the middle. And on that day that I took that test, I scored 94% higher than everybody that took the test that day. And they offered me a job in the state of New York, but I decided to move down here. And when I found out how much they was getting paid down here, I said, you won't get me. But years ago, I was accused of doing something. And see, a lot of our problem is we're scared. When we go before the judge, we're scared. So we take the plea. And if you don't have a lawyer, those defense attorneys, they're not working for you. They working for them. You know what I'm saying? So they get you to take a plea. So I got accused of doing something that I didn't do. And they were going to charge me with this misdemeanor and stuff like that. I said, I ain't pleading to nothing. And so they wait a few months, bring me back. You know what I'm saying? I'm out on my own recognizances, come back. Well, we'll drop it down to such and such. I don't care if you drop it down to your mama. I'm not pleading to nothing. This went on for a year and a half. And then the judge finally says, well, if you don't get any trouble for 6 months, we'll wipe it off your record. Negro, I haven't done anything in a year and a half that I've been going through this stuff. And he said, you know what? You're absolutely right. And he threw it out. Now, had I went to that judge and was scared or let somebody whisper in my ear telling me you're going to go to jail if you lose, I don't care about losing. Why would I admit to something that I didn't do? So therefore, had I listened to this white dude whispering in my doggone ear, I would have a record today. But see, we're trained to be afraid of these people. Kendrick Johnson, Bishop was talking about Zimmerman, Kendrick Johnson in Valdosta, Georgia. That doggone, the people that killed that boy are associated with the FBI. rolled that baby up, and tried to say he did it to himself and it was an accident. Because the people that's involved are with the doggone FBI. Those kids' father is part of the doggone FBI. Doggone black and Latino officers in New York filed a lawsuit against the NYPD because they were being forced to give people, black people and brown people, tickets and, stop them and all that other stuff. So stop acting like it's not about black people.
Mm-hmm.
We always been on a totem pole, and until we come together in some form of fashion, and we don't have to get along, but we got to work together enough so we can get out of this doggone situation, or we always going to be slaves to this funky ass system. Oops,
Hey,
sorry.
hey, hey.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay. Badger, what's on your heart? Boy, you and Cassandra, boy, I don't know what I'm gonna do with y'all
I
two people.
got one question before I say what's on my mind. If
Mm-hmm.
that's okay.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Tiffany, what is the purpose of you saying house Negro?
What's the purpose of me saying house Negro?
Yeah.
Because if you
Ooh,
watch any slave movie, you had house Negroes and you had field Negroes. And
We have it all.
99% of the time, the house Negro was trying to stop the field Negroes from trying to get the freedom and everything. He was boss's ass licking person.
Hey, 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 hey,
I
Tiffany.
didn't say any, I said,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, now you know what you said. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
apologize. But the field Negro, and I don't care if I offend somebody by saying it. It is what it is. The field Negro always protected the master. You know what I'm saying? He always protected.
The house
He
Negro.
would
The house Negro.
snitch
The
on
house
the
Negro.
field Negro
Yeah.
because
Mm-hmm.
he wanted his position with the master. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I put people in that doggone category. If you don't like it, too bad, because that's how I feel, and
Hold
that's
on.
what it
Okay.
is. And if you
Hold
watch
on.
any of these slave movies, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. You won't understand it because you're Caucasian. But any black man
For
that goes
one,
to
don't assume that I don't understand.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
you might understand, but a lot of people don't.
Now we got to move on, y'all. We got to move on.
Um,
What's on your heart, Badger?
well, once again, my mind goes to the white conversations I've unfortunately been a part of people calling each other names and all that nonsense. And I just find it quite insane.
You
Um,
can call it insane or not, but you don't say nothing
Hold on,
to
Tiffany.
Leonard
Hold
when
on,
he
hold
said
on,
that
Tiffany.
people are slave minded.
Tiffany,
So if you're gonna
Tiffany,
say something,
Tiffany. Hold on, sis. Hold on. Go ahead, Badger.
well, with me knowing, for one, me knowing what Leonard does every single day, I have my own opinions, but that's irregardless. It's interesting how when I start talking about, living wages and equality and the fact racism runs rampant in our judicial system, I'm immediately called a communist or a socialist, and I should be hung because it goes against the ideologies of the what is it, diplomacy, whatever D word they want to use or throw at me, you know, and I spend every day trying to inform, research, the white folks all the time that this stuff really is real. It does exist. I also have to help. I'm also helping my native brothers and sisters because of the crap they deal with today that has continued for since Europeans showed up on this continent. So I have a lot of reason to be angry about what's going on and how people are treated every single day. So the part that messes me up the most is to hear people be talked about when a person doesn't really know who the other person's all about. Most it's interesting. She calls me, Caucasian, automatically assumes I don't understand. This is the crap I'm talking about. We're
Mm.
supposed to be on this panel sharing ideologies, and if I was so against black people and didn't have any understanding whatsoever, I'm pretty sure Raheem wouldn't let me even on this show. So This back and forth and accusing people of junk is sad. That's what white folks do.
A hit dog will holler. You know what? And I've never said anything bad about you. As a matter of fact, I've talked to Raheen a lot of times, and I said I agree with most of the time when you say something. And I also talk about the fact that you don't talk much. So don't
Okay.
come for me,
Tiffany,
homeboy,
Tiffany,
because you don't
hold,
know.
Tiffany, hold on. We going somewhere we're not going today. We going somewhere we're not going. Hold on. Both of y'all stay right there. We're
Oh,
gonna move on. Hold
all right.
on, Badger. We're gonna move on. Let me go to let me see
In here,
say it again.
can I chime in here,
Go ahead.
please?
Quickly, uh-huh.
Uh, Badger, to answer your question, I would direct you to the youth speech by Malcolm X, the House Negro and the Field Negro. That'll give you a greater understanding of exactly what Mr. Real's talking about. At the end of the day, Miss Real has a point because, in my mind, this is my opinion. In my mind, it's one setting listening who does not share our feelings nor our ideology. And the first thing they're saying is, you see how to think? They're using the things that certain people are saying on this broadcast to justify maladaptive and inappropriate behavior, treatment, and situational poverty. They're using that to justify it. So if we don't speak on it, then who are we? And if we speaking like we're for that, or we're speaking like we're condoning the inappropriate treatment of African Americans, indigenous people, indigenous Indians, Asians, I don't care what color you are. If you're considered a minority and we're speaking on the acceptance of maladaptive treatment of those very same minorities, then we cannot be mad when we get mistreated because we have condoned that.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal. Let me go to Tucson. Then I'm gonna go to Rico. Tucson had his hand up. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother?
Yeah, I and that's why I kind of just stay calm and collected because these conversations are healthy, but they can always get out of hand,
Mm-hmm.
and depends on what your stance on it.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, we have to calm down and see where we are
Mm-hmm.
and see the reality. And then we throw something else out here and don't nobody get offended. You have to be there to see it more clearly. I know that we try to understand some things, but some things that I will never understand,
Mm-hmm.
especially if I haven't been there, done that. Here's another thing. Let me throw this out here. I can't even understand how there are some that has been there and done that and still don't have a clue. Seem like.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So we have
Hey,
all of these people.
Tucson.
Please give me one more minute. Please, 30 seconds.
Go ahead, brother.
This is what's so unique about the morning glow.
Mm-hmm.
We're different,
Yeah.
but you're welcome at the table. And I would even say, look, I invite some clan members. Come, let's
Yeah.
have a
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah.
Because if we
Exactly.
can't sit down and
Mm-hmm.
talk,
Mm-hmm.
we'll never have a resolve.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
My tongue and my teeth every once in a while disagree.
I'm just trying. I'm listening to what you're saying there, Tucson. I'm going to go to Rico, and I'm trying to discern in the course of this thing. Did I hear a couple of gut punches that were thrown out there? But I'm not gonna say nothing. But
I always do that.
yeah. I'm just, Rico, what's on your heart, brother? Because I feel like I heard a couple of gut punches that were just thrown out there just a second ago. But we ain't gonna talk on that. What's on your heart, Rico?
Was Donald finished?
Yes.
Man, I'm gonna go back and say all of the above. I think at some point in time, it's hard for us to understand that we have been Europeanized or Westernized in our thinking. This embracing democracy and standing up for law and order and believing in government and the judicial system. We would like to believe in that, but Curtis said it earlier. If it was utilized fairly, but we are in America. Now I'm going back to what Donald said. Have we forgotten where we are? Have we bought that dream so much to the point to where we start using alternative talking points and forgetting that there are very special factors and forces in place and things that evolve to make sure people that look like me still don't progress without having to jump through hurdles and hoops, and overcome all kind of barriers. We still, I mean, I said earlier, we're gonna forget about affluenza. This just happened a few years ago. This boy killed somebody, got out of jail, had a second chance. We talking about third strikes and stuff too now. This boy got out of jail after killing somebody, not selling some dope because he would have got more time. Violated the agreement with the court system. They let him out because of affluenza. He was too affluent to be able to have to go through some of those things. That means he should be, his sentence should be a little lighter. Then he went to Mexico. Because, the law didn't apply to him. So we see this happen, and we understand that this, if you actually look into 200 or 300 years ago, that looked very similar to the same type of privilege and entitlement that other people had when they lynched people and went to jails and overran the jails and beat up the sheriffs, lynch mobs that took people out the jail and did street justice when they got ready. We're gonna have I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I think Charles called on here sometimes just to make sure people stay separated and divided, just to get us off track. That's why I laugh sometimes. I'm like, man, okay, I see what he's doing, man. It's ridiculous, man. It's actually funny what he's doing, but it really shows you just how frustrated we are and disconnected we are, to the point where we know we need to be on the same page, but we can't get on the same page because some of the things that this country has shown us that feels good to us in this country makes us feel like everything is okay. So now we look at things from our position and not realizing that other people might have a different disadvantage. True enough, just because you lived in the projects don't mean you go to prison. And you do have a choice.
Yeah.
But sooner or later, people make choices to do things that makes them feel good. That is the basic human function. And sometimes the things that they do that makes them feel good is wrong. Like maybe screwing their brothers and sisters. It takes you a while to realize the thing that you learned and were programmed to do to be able to survive and to feel good is completely deviant. But we have to understand the factors that made that happen. What caused that factor? So, to just throw people away and wash your hands of them. Nah. You know what? They made a choice. That's on them. You did the crime, you do the time. Now, wait a minute. Just mercy. This man just got out of prison. So many people, like Rosalind said, the Innocence Project. I was on the other side of that 3 times. I have sat back and watched public defenders try to serve me up. And 3 times I had to show them, I'll fire your ass right here and handle my own business. Right here in front of this judge, and then watch the judge give me a nod. Good job. I swore I was going to be held in contempt. But that woman looked at me and gave me a sign of approval. She said, you figured it out. I told him, I said, this man here is working for them. He ain't working for me. I'm firing him right now, Your Honor. I represent myself. I ain't even supposed to be in here. The one that the person that's actually pressing the charges against me won't show up because she's lying. And they want me to keep coming to court. I said, what happened to me being released? I mean, I just had to go in, man. I had to take that chance. But then I sat back in that time. I was wrongfully incarcerated and looked at these people, man. I'm going to be honest with you. I saw the root cause of why the majority of them was there. Even the ones that I disliked, I really couldn't stand the way they carried themselves. And then some was enough for the worst crimes. And I really had sympathy for them. And I'm going to be honest with you, man. When I walked up out of that jail, I shed tears. I shed tears, man, because I seen what the United States had done to my people. Just the extent of it. And they don't even realize it. So we've been drinking this Kool-Aid. And we seeing the division, the conflict, and the frustration play out. And some people can't handle it. But you know what? It's been times that I accepted things, and I had to accept the fact that, you know what, I was on the wrong side. I was
Yep.
being a house nigga,
Wow.
and
Wow.
I have to fix that.
hmm Bishop, what's on your heart, brother? Bishop.
Yes, sir. Man, listen to Rico and Tiffany. I'm gonna tell you, they said some wonderful things.
hmm
And of course, the opinions of everybody is their opinion. We're not here to berate anyone or uh, make anybody feel bad about their heritage or their race. That's not what it's about. We're just talking about the reality of what we face. I speak from a dark complected individual, uh, and I speak about the plight that we experience, but also speak from different perspectives. Being a politician, knowing the injustice that blacks face, and it's not acceptable. But some would rather accept it. And I love the fact when Rico said, "Hey man, these folks are trying to rail over me. This girl ain't coming, and this that. I've been wrongfully incarcerated." There are a lot of blacks that are wrongfully incarcerated today,
hmm
and they'll get their attorney, which is defense attorney or the
Public
court-appointed
defender.
attorney
Mhm.
to say, "Hey, make this deal," and then they end up messing themselves up because they're fearful, as Rico said, of what may befall them. So yeah, okay, I take this plea, I take this deal. If I didn't do the crime, I ain't doing the time. I'm going to
hmm
declare my innocence till the very end.
hmm
And it's so sad that we as a people, black people, I said just like that, are so against one another, trying to defame one another, destroy one another. Why? Because again, as Rico said, and he brought it up, and I use it all the time: house Negro, field Negro.
hmm
If you ever look at the Django Unchained,
hmm
oh my God, you'll see exactly what we're talking about: the
Don't don't
house Negro
don't look,
versus the field
Bishop,
Negro.
I want to
Bishop,
know who
don't
that is on
Bishop,
that nag.
Bishop, don't look, don't you bring that up. Don't you bring that up.
I'm sorry,
Don't you bring that up,
but I want
duh.
to know who that
Who
is.
that on that now?
Lord Jesus, Lord Jesus. Look, it's been a great broadcast. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow. Uh Lord, 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 Lord. Let me say it again, Lord. Who I'm gonna go to right now? Who's up there? Badger, you say you had something else to say, Badger. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
You know, it's
Y'all something else.
kind of going back on what I was saying earlier. You know, some people can acknowledge everything that's going on. And one of the ways they deal with it is fighting within themselves to not let it affect how they live. So they use it as a strength to fight the system in their own way. And they fight hard.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, I sit in the shadows, and because I've been outcasted for speaking up. And every time I speak up, I put my life at danger more and more. So it's it's not an easy fight at all for nobody. So this what scares me the most is people becoming separated.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that's the
So
part. Go ahead.
go. I'll reply after you say what you were going to say.
No, 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 no. I was just agreeing with you. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's why I found what was being said so crazy. There's a, when Charles is on here, there's a lot of things he says that kind of gets under my skin because I'm like, so if you have millions of dollars, you're going to help my family,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing. So it, I live in a state where a disabled person would be executed faster than anybody else. If you were mentally retarded, you were the first one to die,
Mm.
followed by blacks, and then so on and so on. So it's very wild to hear accusations and word usage being thrown in general towards one another. Because to me, that causes more confusion and separation than anything. So
Mhm.
I actually have an issue of anyone that like targets Leonard. That bothers me a lot because I know what that man does every day.
Mm-hmm.
I have spent so much time in conversations with that man
Mm-hmm.
where he's taught me how to deal with racism and things like that where I live, where it's
Mm-hmm.
running rampant.
Good
So
deal.
because he approaches it differently,
Mm-hmm.
people want to throw words at him.
Okay. Let's my thing let me see. Willa hadn't spoken to you in a minute, Willa. Willa, what's on your heart? What's going on? We got a lot going on. This is Way Out Wednesday. This is Way Out Wednesday. Boy, we way out. Lord, my
We
Jesus.
out there now.
We
We way out there now.
Hey, Raheem.
we in the deep waters.
Hey, Raheem. I had actually got somebody that I know on the phone a while back. I don't know if he's still on the phone. His name is T.C. Hamilton. He is the first cousin of Fred Hamilton.
Wow.
I don't know
Okay.
if you guys know anything about him.
Yes, we do.
But I had got him
Absolutely.
on the line. And I don't know if he wants to say anything, but I just want to say, as a people, just being in the position that I am right now, I mean, I realize that we're not all the same. We're not going to ever be the same. The Bible tells us that we're going to have the poor with us always, and the wheat and tares always going to live together. But if we want to just make a difference in anybody's life or a change, saying that we've added something to somebody's life before we leave this earth, that middle dash that's going to be between the day I was born and the day I die, I want to make that mean something. I may not have been able to change the world, but I can change somebody's life. Even if it's just one person, I can say that I attempted to change one person's life. And then that's dominoed on down. Because that's what the world should be about. It shouldn't be about, oh, I'm living in my little circle and I'm doing my own thing, because you're living in a world full of people. And just like the man say, we got the right to make choices in this life. And I hate when people say, I made a mistake. No, you made a bad choice. A bad choice. Now you have the cause and the effect for the choices you made. So I just want to say that, we say good stuff on this line. I see the difference of opinions, but I just hope in someone's heart that they're saying, I want to make a difference in some young man's life.
Absolutely.
Or some young woman's life.
Absolutely.
Because, you just can't see evil running rapid in this world and not saying, I want to do something about it. And that's my opinion.
That's good. That's good. Mr. Hamilton, you want to say something?
No, I'm enjoying myself listening.
Okay, good deal. Well,
is that Hamilton or Hampton?
Hampton.
Hampton. Okay.
Hampton. Okay, so he's Fred Hampton's. Okay, man. Hey, that's an honor. It's an honor.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, good to have you with us, brother. And we're here every day, Monday through Friday. We don't get we ain't always this crazy, but we do get a little crazy from time to time. We get a little crazy.
Yes, we are. Yes, we. I'm gonna get the information from Willow. I'm enjoying this.
Good deal. Like
I'm enjoying this.
Well,
I have something to add to this, family, but I'm enjoying listening right now.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna tell you something, Mr. Hampton. I would love to have and to hear your input as to what you think about what we're talking about right now, if you don't mind sharing with us.
Well, right now I'm listening at everyone, and everyone here makes sense to me, But when it comes down to really, it's our people, that's kind of like seeing an eagle fly with a duck right now, because everybody got a different direction to fly. So I just want to continue to listen, and it's hopefully I can. Once I get the connection on how to get with you, I will be there.
Okay, good deal. We'd love to have you. Like I said, we're here every day, Monday through Friday, from 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it definitely be an honor having you, sir. So definitely make yourself available if you can to be a part of it. Cassandra, what's on your heart right now? Oh Lord.
I want to say, no, I want to be. I'm trying to be delicate. I'm trying to be dainty.
No, today Way Out Wednesday. This is Way Out Wednesday.
So, I don't mean any harm by what I'm about to say because I really love everybody on here.
Mm-hmm.
But unless you are black, you can understand to a certain degree what we go through or what we're talking about. And it makes me so even thinking about it. You will never know what it's like to walk in our shoes. I'm just sorry. You can sympathize with us because all through history there have been white people that have walked with us and tried to make a change and make it different. But man, unless you actually walk in our shoes as a black man or a black woman in this country, you have no idea
Mm-hmm.
what it's like and how painful it can be and why I have to pray so hard every day because I have three grandsons, 20, 22, and 25 out there, and I'm afraid that somebody's going to pull them over or some kid going to want something they got and shoot them. Listen, you have no idea. I'm serious. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that people want to see a change in our community and in our people or whatever. But you don't know you'll never know unless you're black what it's
Mm-hmm.
like to be black in America.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I don't mean any harm, like I said.
Yeah. 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 I agree. Curtis, there was you might have seen this documentary. 'Cause I know you look at a lot of documentaries, as do Rico. But there was a one of our Caucasian brothers, man, that wanted to have the experience, and they made him up to look to be black and put all the stuff on him, make him black.
Well, he took a
And
pill. He took a pill. You talking about the one in the 50s or 40s or 50s a long time ago?
no, I don't think this was that long ago. I think it was maybe in the 80s or whatever. But they dressed him up and put him in the community to give him the black experience. And man, he said when he came out, when he came had to come back, and they had to interview him and talk to him. He said he never knew. He said he never knew, but to have to experience it firsthand and to go into they sent him out into the communities and had to deal with people, and everybody looked at him, didn't know who he was when he went into the stores and the different places and stuff. They saw him as a black man. They treated him as a black man because that was the appearance that he had. And he said, man, I didn't know. He said, I didn't know. And he said, and he said, me as a white man, I see what's going on. I see what is happening and how it happened. He said, I didn't know. He said, I didn't know. And he said, it gave him a totally different viewpoint of what it was the black experience was, because he was able to deal with it firsthand because of the makeup and stuff that he had. Tiffany, did you see that?
I seen something similar, but not that exact one that you're talking
Mm-hmm.
about.
I'm,
Hmm.
I'm about to find that. I want to find that. I want to play it for y'all, man. Hopefully, I can find it by Friday so we can play it on Friday so you all can see it, man. Because it's lengthy, and so I'm going to have to break it up into in the pieces so you can see and we can go through it that way. Because we definitely can't look at the whole thing. I think it's like an hour, and we're not gonna do that. But I want you all to see that, man. That was absolutely amazing, and the experience that he got from it gave him a totally different perspective as when he dealt with and how he dealt with. Um, Public citizen said black like me. But it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing, man. And
That was the name. That was the name of that with James Whitmore.
Was it
Yeah, I
James?
was ready to say
Yeah,
that.
that's it. That's it. Black like me. That's the name of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I thought it was in the 80s though. Wasn't that in the 80s?
No, no. If I'm not mistaken, right, and I could be wrong.
Uh,
Um, but Black Like Me is the same. That's the same situation that Rico was talking about.
Okay. That might be it
With,
then.
with
That might be it. Okay.
where
But
the
man,
guy took
go ahead. Go ahead, Curtis.
yeah, he took a pill to increase his melanin.
Mm.
You know what I mean, and it darkened him up. There's listen, okay, I'm just gonna get straight to the point, man.
Hey, talk directly into your phone, Curtis. You're a
There,
little bit low, brother. You're a little bit low.
there's no culture, there's no uh, sect in America who has been treated as the African American in society anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that we have been denied our language, our heritage is so evident because every time we talk about the black experience in America, it always starts with slavery.
Mm-hmm.
So see, America never rightly, um, they have never been atoned for their original sin. And we could go deeper with this, but we don't have a lot of time left in the show. But please, my God, right here, please, if you do anything, please, Hampton on here for a whole entire 2-3 hours, so he can break down um, the things that he has experienced and seen, and it won't necessarily be just for us,
Mm-hmm.
because there's some of the young folk out here, man, for real, their eyes is open, their ears is listening, and they need to hear from him.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't gonna hear from us.
Yeah.
They're not gonna hear it from us. They need to hear it from a doer, a shaker, and a mover in this process. They need to hear from somebody who actually did it. And some of us, we doing it, true indeed. Some of us, we trying to do it. Me, Leonard, Badger, Tiffany, Cassandra, uh, Bishop, we all trying to do it. I don't think we did it like Mr. Hampton.
Mm-hmm.
If he is who I think he is, I don't think we did it like Mr. Hampton.
Exactly. Exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely. Tiffany, I see you over there. You've been quiet for a minute. So what's on your heart?
Well, first, I want to say I make no apologies for what I said because I meant what I said. And two, I love my people. I don't care you good, bad, black or light, whatever. I love my people. And when I got divorced and white dudes holler at me all the time, I tell them you might be a nice guy, but my kids are black and I gotta ride this black thing out. And it's no shade to nobody else, but I love my people and I fight for my people. And I don't have to go out and telling people everything that I do, but I'm out here too doing what I have to do because, like somebody said, if you can reach one, you doing your job.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I'm a passionate person. I'm 5'1". Maybe I have a little complex because I'm short. I don't know what it is, but I ride or die for my people. You know what I'm saying? And way you talk about the
Five
Native
foot nine.
Americans and stuff like that a lot. When I travel around the country and stuff, I met a beautiful Indian guy in Utah, and we had a great conversation and laughed when the Caucasians came up because they like, what are they talking for? You know what I'm saying? And we sat and laughed at them, had a great time. And I post a picture on my Facebook page. You know what I'm saying? Because he talked about a time when we used to work side by side together. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that I'm anti anything, but I'm always gonna be black first because I have black babies. I pushed out 7 black babies. And I got to worry about my 7 black babies every time they walk out the door, especially my 3 black sons. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always going to ride harder for them than anybody else. And anybody black, that's my brother and my sister. No matter what. You don't have to like me, but if somebody's fighting you, they fighting my little butt too. And that's just how I roll. So if I come out passionate and I call and I say somebody behaves like a house Negro or something, because I feel like that person is the enemy. And anybody that's not for me and for my people is against me and my people. And I'm gonna ride hard on that. And I will never apologize for that. So
Okay.
if I offended you, that is on you because I am not talking to offend you. I'm here to defend myself and my people, and I'm always gonna be like that. And if Raheem don't like it, I don't have to
Wait
be
a
on the
minute.
platform.
Hold on now. Wait a minute now. You done took a left turn. Now you put a signal or something on before you take that left turn. You ain't number 5. You ain't number 5 feet nothing now. Hey, I ain't scared of you now. I'm not here
I
to
ain't
tell
scared of
you.
you either.
I'm
I'm
here to
not
tell you
scared of
something
you
right now,
either.
dude. Look,
I'm not
I ain't gonna
scared of
hit,
you either.
look, I ain't gonna hit no woman, but I still ain't scared of you. I'm gonna
Well,
let you
then
know I ain't
I'll
gonna hit
take
no
this
woman.
wig off and you can pretend I'm a dude, because I'm gonna come with it.
Girl, you can't take this power that I'm gonna be throwing at you. Well, hold on, stay right there. Hold on, you ain't gonna be able to take this power. I won't be throwing at you now. But I'm gonna go ahead and say it to you now. Uh, Rico, don't say nothing, man. Just shake your head, brother. Just shake your head, Rico. Just shake. There you go. Just shake, just shake your head. Listen, Tucson had his hand up. Tucson, what's on your heart?
I was I my two brothers was in a squabble and they was really getting at each other. And my cousin jumped, called his stuff, was gonna jump in and break the fight up.
Mm-hmm.
And and I was standing by watching my two brothers fight. And then as my brother came out of his house and crossed the field, I said, "Look here, brother, you better get back where you come from because this family."
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
hope you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
See, we have and I was in the conversation that Badger. I hope you don't mind. I'm in a conversation with Badger, and it's good, it's perfect, it's beautiful. There are some people that are not within our community, within our race, within our household, whatever it is. We appreciate the help, but see, we need to help each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest problem. Our resolve is with us, and it's not to be disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
It's not to say we don't appreciate it, but see, you gonna have to wait till the fight is over, but we gonna be all right
Mm-hmm.
if because we family.
Mm-hmm.
We may disagree, Let me just throw this out here. Even with Charles, we may not agree with him, but we're not falling out. We just don't agree. So that's
Mm-hmm.
just where maybe I'm just by myself.
No, no,
But I
no,
respect his
no.
opinion because I know what he is. I know
Mm-hmm.
I can understand where he is.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not gonna. I'm not. I can't say whatever I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
I just stop right
Yeah, okay. Good deal. Good, good deal. Rico, what's on your heart? And Rico, I want you to speak on this right here, if you don't mind doing that, man. Bishop said he was light skinned.
I think he lighter than me.
I don't know. Bishop said he light skinned, man.
What fish you talking about? Because I know I ain't light skinned.
I knew I
He
wake
lighter.
I was light skinned.
He
I know how
lighter
to
than
wake
me.
him
He
up.
might be light skinned.
Oh, he one of light skinned the brothers.
If he lighter than me, he light skinned. I
Man, I
call
tell
it.
you what, if you cut the light off and I'm standing there, you're gonna be like, "What, Greg in the room?"
Good Lord. Go ahead, Rico. What's on your heart, man? Bishop acting up this morning.
Man, was one of the most difficult things I had to accept sometimes is that I indulge and embrace ideology sometimes that really didn't benefit me.
Mm-hmm.
And so now it's hard waking up from it, breaking away from it. It's almost like sugar and cigarettes and alcohol. It's believing in this American dream and the judicial system and the Constitution and Declaration and pledging allegiance and all that bull crap.
Mm-hmm.
I bought into that. But
Mm-hmm.
imagine me walking into a Ku Klux Klan rally and they having a meeting with another white nationalist organization and they having a disagreement, and then I come and speak in my 2 cents.
Mm.
I mean, listen, I might try to relate to them and understand where they're coming from, but the difference between me and them is that they're going to continue to live it, and I could leave away from that and go into a whole different reality. That's the same thing as white people trying to relate to us and understand it, then getting involved and saying, well, you know what, I don't appreciate this and I don't appreciate that. Well, you know what, really and truly, even though you empathize and you support us, this one right here, you might need to sit out on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because
Exactly.
sometimes in these arguments, listen, man, it's been times that I was called a sellout, a coon, and all that stuff right there. I'm like, man, look at this. Out of all people that call him a coon, 1 minute I'm called a coon, and next minute I'm called a racist against white people.
Mm-hmm.
based on all these people's opinion. And guess what? Sometimes some of the things I say may sound like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to find out a way to accept accountability for the way that came out my mouth, or find out a way that I can reason to clear that up with people that think that I may have came off that way. One thing I ain't gonna do is run.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know anybody anything. I don't know anybody in the explanation. But at the same time, I do owe it to you to make sure I am represented the way that I meant for you to perceive me or to receive me. I don't want to misrepresent myself, because one thing I am not is a sellout. I am not a house Negro. But I can accept accountability for doing some things that was sort of Django-ish. And so now in the process of me realizing that and coming up with a reason of why I feel the way that I feel, but now I have to still look at the other side of things. I have to say, well, you know what? I drunk that Kool-Aid.
Wow.
I looked at it from my point of view instead of from their point of view, but now I have to see it in a different way to understand that, you know what? I can't look at this point of view the way that I have been. I have now. Then that's where empathy comes in. That to be able to have an open enough mind to realize that the way that I feel and see things is not exactly the way that it is all the time.
That's good. That's good. We're about to get out of here. We got 4 more minutes before we. I say you tell we got 4 minutes before we get out of here. But I want to go to Willow real quickly, and I'm asking Willow this question. And Mr. Hampton, if you want to expound on it, you can as well. When has America that you know of in your existence been fair and just to the black man?
I can't even answer that. Right.
I'm 77. I haven't seen that day yet. So.
Wow. And that brother said he's 77 and he has not seen that day, man. I'm not 77, and it's a blessing that he's here with us at the age of at the young age of 77. But my thing is, man, that he's never seen that. When has America been just to the black man here in the black man here on these soils? When have they ever been just? When have there ever been justice? When has there ever been justice? And to say that, you know, we understand this or we understand that, man, that's hard. That's a hard pill to swallow right there, man. Because, you know, I would love to see the day. I'm gonna say it like this: before God called me home to glory, I would love to see the day. If it's only just one day where I could just see absolute justice for all of us, and we get that justice. I would love to see what that. I like to smell and see what that smells like, man. I would love to know what that smells like. What does it smell like? Yes, sir.
What is the most peaceful day that you have ever experienced in America besides maybe Christmas and Thanksgiving? I don't had a violent Thanksgiving. What is the most peaceful day that you experienced in your lifetime?
Wow.
Well, when did you see the most love as a country? Well, races, it seemed like race and everything just went out the window. When did everybody actually just seem like they were one race of people?
9/11.
Wow. That's good. Because my answer was gonna be a little different, man. My answer was the most peace that I've seen around my people, that family and friends and all those things, man. And this one is gonna sound kind of very weird. It's gonna sound very weird, man. But it was at a funeral. It was at a funeral, man. We all came together, man, and one of our loved ones had passed on. And we had to look at each other, man. You know, no day is promised, man. No day is promised to any one of us, man. And any one of us could have been laid in that casket, man. And so if we don't take this opportunity right now and show each other how much we mean to each other and how much we love each other and is dedicated to each other, man, it'll never happen. And I think it have to start within. It have to start within, and then it can pour out. A lot of people don't love themselves to the point. I see a lot of people don't love themselves enough to be able to love anybody else. I don't think you can really truly love anybody else until you find out how to love yourself and let it pour on. Let that cup get full and then pour off into other people. Tiffany, you had your hand up.
I just want to say to anybody, especially Badger, if he hasn't seen this movie, because most of us, if not all of us, have seen the movie Roots. But if you want to see something that's going to touch your soul, and I got tears in my eyes just thinking about it right now because I watched it once and almost, because everything that's in this movie you see in modern day time, and that
Mhm.
movie is Goodbye Uncle Tom. If
Wow.
you watch Goodbye Uncle Tom, that is a painful movie to watch because it
Mhm.
goes a lot deeper than Roots. It has the black people standing there naked and they checking us like we're animals and stuff like that. You have the little boys in dresses standing to get raped by the white people and stuff like that. You see the black women getting raped. You see the men in the breeding farms with the sacks on their heads,
The
forced to
Mandingos.
sleep with their mothers and sisters and all that other stuff so they can create more slaves and everything. If you want to watch a movie and see what it's like for black people, watch that movie. You know, you on a slave ship and you trying to fight against these people. So what they do is they'll throw you overboard alive. They don't care if you're pregnant. They don't care if you're man or woman. And then what they do, they'll chop your head off and put it on a stake and have them standing around. So you got to watch headless people while, you know what I'm saying? I don't
Mhm.
want nobody telling me, Tiffany, don't say that. Don't do that. You offended me. Because we've been offended since we were born. Since
Mhm.
we stepped on this soil, whether we were born here, came over here, it don't matter.
Mhm. Now, Tiffany, you know
Can't
it's time for
nobody tell me how to feel about my people or nothing like that. And I just want you guys to watch this movie, Goodbye
it's
Uncle Tom, so
it's
you guys
actually
can put things into perspective.
I actually just pulled it up. It's actually on YouTube. So if you all want to go to YouTube, it's actually on YouTube as well. I just pulled it up, and I'm gonna have to take a look at it myself because I definitely want to see what you're talking about. But
That's
it's
Raheem.
powerful.
time. It's time for yes. It's time for us to get out of here. Anybody want to say anything before we get out of here?
Yeah,
I
let me say,
did.
man, when you
I hate to jump in on, but the only time you question and the only time when Katrina came to Mississippi and New Orleans,
Mm-hmm.
no matter who you were, where you came from, how much money you had, you could never go to you couldn't even go to the ATM and get no more than $300.
Mm.
Everybody was in the same line,
Mm.
and
Wow.
the rich and the poor, they seem to have harmony. So it
Mm-hmm.
takes a disaster
Yeah.
to bring people together. Ain't that crazy?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Somebody else want to say something?
Yeah, but when some of them tried
I
to
just want to
leave
pause on it.
Now,
Louisiana,
now,
they was met with guns and stuff like that too.
Tiffany, now, hold on. Now,
What?
you
I'm
just
just
spoke.
saying.
Hold on for a minute now. Look, somebody else wanted to say something. Who else wanted to say something?
Yeah, this Rosalind, I just want to say to Badger, I honestly respect the fact that he wants to talk about everything that's going on because I was in a position where you would talk about these things amongst another race and they get uncomfortable. So
Mm-hmm.
he's not uncomfortable. So we
Yeah.
have to respect the fact that he wants to talk about it. He wants to
Mm-hmm.
learn. He wants to know. So
Exactly.
we have to show respect to him that
Mm-hmm.
he wants to know.
Mm-hmm.
But just to say to Tiffany, we're always going to be known as a black angry woman. That's what they always call me that. She just black angry. She's angry. No, I'm not angry. I just want to talk about it because it happened. That's the
Mm-hmm.
only way we're going to get past everything if we talk about it.
Good deal. Good deal. Rico, you wanted to say something, brother?
yeah, I can see it on the way out.
Okay. Good deal. Anybody else have anything to say? Let me go around. Cassandra.
No, well, yeah. Um, Thank you again, Tiffany, Rosalind. Yeah, all of the females on here because sometimes we do come across like we're angry black women. I'm not an angry black woman. I really am not. I don't care what you think I
Oh,
am. I'm
oh,
not.
oh,
But I'm very passionate
oh.
about my people, the things that I believe in,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it comes across as aggressive. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
assertive. I'm not
Exactly.
aggressive. I'm assertive. So
Mm-hmm.
I want to apologize. If you take me that way, but that's not who I am. And if you know anything about me, just Google me.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually Google me and
Yeah.
you'll see that is not who I am.
Exactly. Exactly. Willa.
Raheem, I just want to say, I am just so, should I say, impressed how everyone on this show is so respectful, regardless of our opinions,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of what they say, and they're. I mean, I just love it.
Yes.
I just like it.
Praise
How
God.
we just come together, and
To God.
whether we have the same opinion or a different opinion, I like
Mm-hmm.
how you as a leader keep this show going successfully, where we get to learn something and understand something about each other as a culture.
To
So
God be
thank
the
you,
glory.
Raheem, for
Praise
allowing me
God.
to be on this show.
To God be the glory. To God be the glory. Absolutely. Absolutely. Mr. Hampton, you want to say something, sir?
Well, I want to thank Willa for inviting me to this, and I want to thank everybody that spoke
Mm-hmm.
for speaking the truth.
Yes.
And I would like to be a part of this.
Yes, sir. We love to have you, sir. We definitely love to have you. Anybody? Did I miss anybody? Curtis? Curtis, are you still? Yeah, Curtis still there. Curtis, what's on your heart, brother?
I'm still here. What's on my heart is the brother Badger, man. I love you. I need you to know that.
Mm-hmm.
And Badger reminds me of something that Dr. King said that I will keep with me for the rest of my life. Because we are now in that present time and era where this one sentence he said is coming to fruition. Dr. King said that we will not remember the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. So it is time for those who know what's going on to speak up, speak against, and show out. And it is time for those who don't know what's going on to wake up and see what's going on and speak up, speak against, and show out. So remember that.
Mm-hmm.
We will not remember the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends.
Absolutely.
Be
Absolutely.
in that.
Tucson?
Yes, sir. Good show. Thank you, man. I mean, everything and everyone. Um, Roger, we still ain't. We gonna have to. We gonna have to get together and accomplish some things in this area.
Mm-hmm.
I'm slow about it, but I'm getting there.
There you go.
Okay. Thank you for joining.
Absolutely. 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 Now let me see. Rico, what is going on, sir? I think I touched everybody. Did I miss anybody? I didn't miss anybody, did I? Okay.
No, that's everybody.
Rico, what's going on at 3 o'clock today, sir?
Well, first, let me get my last 2 cents in.
Uh-oh.
First off, to Bishop and Cassandra, I want to thank y'all for making my day today. I did not expect y'all to be the class clowns today and disrupt class, but y'all did that, man. That Reckham. I like the lost it, man. That's my guy right there, Muttley.
Mm-hmm.
And when you watch that movie, what the Uncle Talk movie that Tiffany was telling you about, it's probably better than Roots because it doesn't even seem like it's a real movie. It actually seems like somebody's recording it in live time.
Mm-hmm.
It's horrific.
Mm.
It's only part of the story. Like I said, that ain't even a third of really everything that went on, and that in itself is bad enough. So, I want to, get everybody, if they can, to watch that and then watch the movie Black Like Me, where I was talking about the guy that took the melanin pills and lived in the black way of life. It was sort of telling back then when they made the movie what's going on. But we have to understand that we got to connect and stay united. That's the reason why our communities look the way it is, and that's the reason why the generations are so divided in our community. We are divided amongst generations, because we came from a place of chaos, and so it's hard for us to understand the evolution of the trickster, the greatest trickster. It's hard for us to understand the games that he plays in this system, because we have become Europeanized, and we love man-made desires, man-made things. And the minute we start getting a little access,
now, Rico,
we
you know
embrace it. So I think it's great that we have Mr. Hampton come on so he can actually sort of give a in detail description of what went on with his brother, how the CIA and FBI played a part in it, how actually the government participated in killing his cousin, what they did, how they sabotaged him, how they sent another black person in to manipulate this information out of him. I mean, really and truly, some people don't understand that this is what we deal with, not only just day to day from our local areas, but from the CIA and FBI.
Exactly.
So I'm going to be happy to hear him come on and give us, firsthand account of true history. There should be in the critical race theory. That's some of the stuff they don't want you to know about. With that being said, if you missed today's broadcast and would like to see it and hear it in its entirety, you can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dkmmediagroup.com.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, Willa, you know what time it is, don't you? Willa, what time is it? Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready, Brian.
Hey, it's on you.
I'm ready. All right, now let's go before God his throne this morning. Father God in heaven, Lord, we just thank you, Lord. We thank you, Lord, for allowing us to get up this morning, get up to commune together, Lord, coming together with humble hearts as one. Father, we just thank you for keeping us, Lord, allowing us to speak our minds and telling things from our heart, Lord. Father, we just love and honor you, Lord. Father, keep protecting our family, Lord, our children and our grandchildren, Lord. Soften their hearts and open up their minds to sound doctrine where they may hear the truth, oh Lord. Touch each and every last one on this line, Lord. Yes. Keep allowing your angels to be encamped around their lives, Lord. Keep them, Lord. Allow the angel to keep them from any hurt, harm, or danger, Lord. Yes, Father, I'm asking you these things in your Son, Christ Jesus' name. Amen, amen, and amen. We're armed and we're dangerous. Yes. Let's go out and love someone today.
Wow. Okay, there you go. There you go. Boy, look here. Can't end the show without that there. Can't end the show without that there. And public citizen, you said that you had somebody that you will bring to the show. Give me a call. Let's set that thing up, man. I think that'll be good to have that individual on here as well. So
he said he wanted to bring a conservative, didn't he?
No, he said you want to bring a Klan man. Yeah, bring him on. I would love to have that conversation. I would love to have that conversation.
What?
I would love to have.
We're gonna put a muzzle on you for a minute.
Lord. Boy, listen. But yeah, publicly, I don't know if you're still listening, but if you're still listening, brother, we definitely would love that opportunity to have that conversation with him. That's what we do here. This is the Morning Glow, and I think it'll be quite interesting. And hopefully, here we go.
Hey, look, man, I think you need to go ahead and really put Willow on that payroll for prayer, because she knocked that thing out quick and to the point. Last night you thought you were slick. You saw what me and Leonard did. I love Pastor Brown, but when you called in for that prayer, I knew we were finna be there for 10 minutes. I said, I ain't putting up with this one today. That man went 10 minutes straight last night. After a while, he said, you know what? Did I forget something? Oh, yeah, Lord.
And another thing, Jesus. Oh, no. No. Boy, y'all got me acting silly. Let me see what public citizens say here. Read it there, Rico. I can't see it like I need to.
Laugh out loud. I mainly want to have a constructive conversation privately.
Oh, okay. Well, we can do that too. But like I said, I definitely, if you can get one of them to come on here and conduct themselves accordingly, we love to have that conversation.
Dang it! Okay.
No. It's gonna happen, Cassandra. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
I was wondering what Cassandra would have to say about that.
Hey, Raheem just ignored that last part. He said privately, Raheem. He said, "Yeah, we'll have him come on here."
Yeah. I overlooked that part. I ain't see that last word, brother. I ain't see that last word. What it is. But listen, it's been a great broadcast. I want to thank everybody for joining us. It is now 10:14. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want to hold on. Let me see. Did I miss something? Okay. I thought I had missed something. Excuse me. 10:14. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DK Media Group and the socials to be a part of your morning. It is now 10:14. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us, because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug, because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And we shine some of this light on you from the morning glow, take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in, and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. Take care of each other, and please be blessed.
Mhm.